E3's come and gone. The video games have come and gone, all that jazz. And as with every E3, I have taken away the most important thing of every E3. The E3 has provided me every year, courtesy of all the live streams, I inevitably learn about a new social media account that will help drive my hatred of something. This year it was electric scooters.
Oh, okay.
I follow not one, not two, but 5 new Instagram accounts dedicated to the destruction and documentation of idiocy on electric scooters. And I thought they were dumb beforehand, but now I'm like, oh, this is population control.
I've wrecked on one. The only time I rode one, like, I wrecked a little bit on one because I hit an uneven part in the pavement.
I think I have gotten to watch someone die at least twice on Instagram. There have been a couple wrecks or wipeouts that I am almost 100% sure ended in the person's death, or like
they go fast.
They go fast enough, yeah.
If people aren't aware of these and how fast they go extremely fast. They go a good 20 miles per hour. And that's extremely fast to have no protection, which most people are riding these with 0 protection.
Yeah, I think I saw a woman hospitalize a child by running it over an electric scooter. Like, it's not. Well, and here's the thing too. It's not like it's 1 or 2 videos per account a day.
Oh no!
It's like
constant.
30 or 40 uploads an hour, and they're not duplicating. Like, there are 5 different accounts dedicated to 5 different things. Like, one of them is just people lighting lots of them on fire, which is ridiculous in its own right, but also, like, people are doing it enough, they're capable of uploading a clip every couple hours of, like, some asshole lighting, like, 7 scooters on fire with lighter fluid.
That just sounds criminal, and they're gonna get
so much of this is criminal.
No, wiping out isn't criminal, but literally setting them on fire.
Yep.
That's a weird line, and whoever's doing that, they're gonna get a nice call from the police.
The numbers of hit and runs I have witnessed on these things, with someone just, like, lying on the ground afterwards, not moving that much, is high.
Yeah, well, here in the internet age and the everybody has a high-def camera age, we get to capture all of the stupidity of humanity.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be, it's not like we're suddenly dumber than we were, like, 100 years ago. We're just recording it now.
Hello and welcome to the post E3 extravaganza extraordinaire E3 post Wicked Awesome Cast special episode period. Episode 159. I'm Alex, and I'm joined with 2 people who are now hostages for the next few hours stuck with me, and that is Charlie, aka Mordak, and Kraken Zero / Nomad Har, aka Henry.
Hello.
Alex, you forget the most important thing in this situation.
Yes?
I am not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
This is true. What are you going to ruin for me this time, Charlie?
I don't know.
It's hard. It's E3. It's hard to do it.
No, that's going to be easy.
But yes, it's post E3, guys, and there were E3 things that happened. It was Christmas news, if you will, for us.
This was more like Hanukkah news. This was Hanukkah news. Like, it was next to Christmas, and you're still excited because you're getting shit, but, like, no kid is vomiting all over their presents. Like, this was kind of a meh E3 year.
I'll give you the Hanukkah angle on it, because it did start like a week before and it went on for a few days.
Yeah, it went on for way too goddamn long, and by the end you're just going, God, can this be over?
Touche. So yes.
Yeah, but the thing is, and this is like, it it just, yeah, like we mentioned this before, it's just become this never-ending concept. It's just going to keep stretching out longer until it's never not E3.
Hmm.
How much of it kind of live did you two keep up with?
Not a lot live, unfortunately. I did catch some stuff afterwards and highlights, but
I managed to keep up with a lot of it once I got into it, and I think the most interesting part of it for me was kind of, I don't want to call it depressing, but like watching a bunch of people that have been to most of, if not all of the E3s talk about this year's E3 was kind of this, it was weird. And then Jen, who actually went to E3, like would be texting me back stuff like, man, there's a lot of energy drinks here. Like samples, no, for sale. Like vendors, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Really?
Razer created their own. Razer has their own energy drink
Are
now.
they Bang?
What?
Are they? No, I thought it was something else they made.
Are they Respawn?
No,
like, I have multiple energy drink samples in my home right now. Some of them are powders mixed with water.
I don't know. I don't really tend to drink energy drinks, to be honest. Like, only really, really on occasion if I just,
She
emergency,
sent me back
basically.
names I had never heard of before. Like, I just have one that's called, like, Game On. I didn't know
That is Mountain Dew, I think.
No, it's powder you mix with stuff. It is a sample of the powder. I have 4 different flavors of powder: pomegranate, watermelon, blue raspberry, tropical pineapple, and green apple. And then I have a separate drink in similar flavors called Respawn.
I think one of those is the Razer one, but I don't know.
Yes, okay,
because...
yeah. Respawn is Razer. Respawn is Razer. It contains 20 calories per serving and 0 sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
All right,
is...
so it's a diet energy drink. How much caffeine, though?
It doesn't say, but the directions on the side are pour, shake, drink, game on.
I'm guessing it probably has similar to a Monster.
Oh, sorry, 95 milligrams per serving.
Okay, 95. That's a good bit.
It comes with a caution: do not exceed 3 servings per day. Not recommended for children, pregnant, or nursing women, and people sensitive to caffeine.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a typical Monster has about 250 to 300 milligrams, so that makes sense. Yeah,
you really shouldn't drink more than one Monster a day either.
No, you should not. Unless you like your heart to explode.
As someone who used to regularly drink more than one Monster a day, and who knows someone who, like, downed multiple BFCs a day, you should not drink it that frequently. Like, I've reached the age where, like, if I have Monster the day before to get myself running, like at breakfast or something, I have a hangover the next morning where it's like, oh god, I drank Monster yesterday. Doesn't matter when. I could have the entire day to recover and renourish from, and I still wake up and like, did I gargle a bull's testicles last night? Why does my mouth taste weird?
Yeah, I really, really don't like Monster. Yeah, like I said, I would only really drink it if I'm kind of in emergency. If I just really need to stay awake for some reason. But yeah. So
multiple job sites
has one now.
Multiple job sites have seen me drink out most of an orange juice and then pour 0-cal Monster into that, shake it, and then drink that, because that's occasionally what you do in my industry to survive a morning. Because someone put into a red eye that got in at 2 a.m. in the morning, West Coast time. That's 5 a.m. in the morning, East Coast time.
So I am curious, just how hello fellow teenagers is this product?
No more so than Razer normally is. Like, it's nice packaging. It's fucking called Respawn. Like, in a world where we have an energy drink called Bang, and their ambassadors are called Bangers, and the question they ask is, do you bang, when they mean, do you drink the stuff? Like, this is better by comparison.
Yeah, definitely not grown-worthy. Okay, yeah, this is much less on the meter of hello fellow teenagers.
On the Bang scale, it does not even blip. And the Bang scales we measure all energy drink cringiness by these days. Like, that weird gamer fuel Mountain Dew ad they're running with the guy in the spider tank, that's a 3 on the bang scale. Bang is a 10 on the bang scale. Because I say again, do you bang? We're clever.
See, I kind of like the potion-themed one.
Sure, fuck it.
Those are kind of fun. For me, those don't rate too high on that scale, to be honest. They're on that scale definitely, but not as high, I would say.
I'm just gonna say, as a gamer of the right age and time frame, if you're doing energy stuff, doing cocaine at LAN parties, were you even actually gaming? Just saying. Like, if you're not grinding up some Adderall with the butt of a cup and then doing a line of that to keep in the game, why even bother being there? It's better for you maybe than some of these drinks.
Of course, and we all know that this is a thing that actually exists in esports. They are the overuse of Adderall as well as straight up meth. But anyways,
is meth a downer though?
No, it makes you super
meth.
jittery.
Yeah, meth is a super stimulant, a super ultra stimulant.
It's a big problem in CS:GO.
I imagine so.
Specifically the European chapters of it, where meth is a big problem, and we're bad at combating meth in the U.S. In countries like Russia, meth is an epidemic that like dwarfs the U.S. problem.
If you're from where I'm from in the U.S., which is the Midwest, which is Oklahoma,
it is a big problem in the U.S. Russia, I'm not sure it's actually totally illegal.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's just like kind of like in the countryside where I'm from, it's just not policed well because it's sparsely populated in many parts. And that's Russia. Russia's gigantic and it's extremely sparsely populated in some spots, so yeah, it's kind of there as well. Same reasons. It just, there's not enough police to police it, so. I mean, that's the thing. It's like where I'm from. There's not hardly enough police, even if they bring in like troops, like state troopers and stuff. There's
similar problems.
Just still, So, yep. But enough about illicit drugs.
Yeah, it's called shabu in Russia, apparently.
So, other than E3, what did you get up to this week, Charlie? To make it through E3, I drank raw milk. Milk that is raw, and I gained the power of both annoying people on raw vegan diets and those who can process dairy, and just flexed on lactose intolerant people for an entire week. Wow, you know, there's a reason that we pasteurize and homogenize milk, but anyway,
as someone who's made fun of raw milk for a long time. Yeah, but also, I'm not gonna lie, I felt pretty okay after drinking that stuff. There was a, maybe it was purely, psychosomatic, smugness aimed at other people, but, I did feel more powerful while I was drinking my raw milk.
So,
go.
So here's what I think happened, and this is my theory, Charlie. The power of spite and wanting to rub it in people's faces so hard forced your stomach to be like, you're gonna get through this. You're gonna drink this fucking raw milk, and you're gonna get through it. And your body was just like, yes, sir.
Yeah,
and it just did it.
Yeah,
I can't think of any other reason why raw milk would have been going through you.
Simply for the fact that my fiance is pretty lactose intolerant, and she had to sit there with me with a fucking glass bottle of milk in hand, watching E3 press conferences, just taking swigs from this thing like it was beer, and just the disdain and hatred from the other side of the couch, just you fucking monster, fueled me in a way that things have not in a long time.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Who needs energy drinks when you've got spite?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this one. So I spent a lot of time kind of keeping up with E3. I follow the Giant Bomb kind of nightly stuff pretty aggressively. If you've been curious about kind of some of the unionization stuff, or just want some really good content on that, go check out their nightly talks. They're always fantastic. The last night is a shit show, as it's always been. If you don't know who Dave Lang is, you should go watch this just so you can be aware that Dave Lang is out there, and Dave Lang is coming for you at all times, and he cannot be stopped.
At all times?
At all times. Dave Lang's like, I'm gonna get you. But mostly I played through the Borderlands 2 DLC that there's rumors about it happening, and then it dropped during E3 as part of that Microsoft press conference, and I downloaded it and started playing it, and that thing may have been a mistake. A really
I
big
hear this.
mistake.
And this is coming from some people who really like Borderlands and Borderlands Fallout or
Borderlands.
Fallout 2,
Yeah,
I mean.
I think I put Fallout by accident.
Mm.
So I've also been kind of playing Destiny at the same time because Destiny is good again. Haha. Destiny's still real good. It turns out.
Yeah.
So I found myself kind of living through a very bizarre memory. And back when Destiny 1 came out, roughly a month after Destiny, like I'm talking back in 2014, September, Destiny 1 comes out, and it's good but bad. Like, it's mechanically, the game is sound, it's fun to play, there's just not a lot to do. And then a month later, the Borderlands pre-sequel, the worst of the three shooty Borderlands games, comes out, and a bunch of people, myself included, kind of overlappingly played both games.
Yeah, I did not play the pre-sequel.
You shouldn't have.
I didn't hear great things about it.
The pre-sequel is bad. It is a fantastic example of a game that is, like, fixed by its Game of the Year edition. Like, so, we've talked about this before, I think. Like, it's got problems where, of the three base characters that come with the game, really only one of them is fun, and one of them is Claptrap. So if you don't like Claptrap, you run the chances of having all of the Claptrap if one of your friends that plays that game chooses to play with Claptrap. And, like, one of the pitches for the game is like, yo, these characters talk more. I no longer play video games with a certain friend because he played Claptrap. Character would not shut the fuck up. And, like, so, playing these two games in tandem, I came to it late. I'm not sure. I remember I played it. I'm not sure if I even bothered talking about Borderlands the pre-sequel on the podcast. That's how kind of meh I was on it. Like, Destiny versus Destiny 1's combat, like, kind of second-to-second gun feel and stuff like that, versus Borderlands makes Borderlands feel like ass. This DLC I've been playing is still very much Borderlands 2. It plays like Borderlands 2. I had forgotten kind of how maybe not great the gunplay of Borderlands was, and then when you put it up against Destiny 2, which, say what you will about Destiny, it's made by fucking Bungie. Bungie makes guns shoot good and fun.
Yeah, that they do.
Yeah, like, it's, you can talk a lot of shit about the Destiny franchise, the second-to-second feel of that game and how it moves and how it feels and how using your powers works and all that jazz. You can't scratch. There's nothing you can kind of bring up against that except, like, oh, it's a first-person shooter. I don't like first-person. It is, of first-person shooters, is a top quality, if not the toppest of quality. Like, it and New Doom sit at a table by themselves going, yo, you know we're some of the best playing shooters ever made, right?
Yeah, it just, I mean, both of those games have great game feel. Now, I haven't played an extensive amount of either one.
Yeah.
But both games have a great just feel. It's hard to describe, but it's a combination of tight, really, really tight play control.
Yeah,
that is, when you want to do something, your character does that thing, and it feels right.
As someone who plays a lot of first-person shooters, like, would go so far as to, like, first-person shooters are some of my favorite playing video games out there. Like, yeah, Bungie can make things shoot good. Like, the reason sparrows in that game feel bad to drive is because they're not as good as walking on foot. Like, it's, yeah.
Well, we also know that Bungie, not always so great at vehicles.
Yeah,
so. That's
Exactly.
So that's forgivable. I
Yeah.
don't really care. I don't care about that, to be honest.
Yes. No, so the free DLC is long, and going back, it's like I think I'm like almost 3 hours into that thing. I still have plenty of it to go, and I don't think I'm going to finish it. Like, it's jumping back into that game, and I had to boost the character up to play it and stuff like that. Like, I'm playing my Necromancer because Necromancers are fun, and
Yep, that's the only character I really play on that. I play a bit of Zero, but I've played way more of Gage.
yeah, I like the guns feel bad. The mission structures kind of feel not great. Like, and I had forgotten about this, and this game is an uncomfortable reminder of, again, like, I give Destiny a lot of shit where it's like, oh, these enemies are such bullet sponges. I had forgotten that Borderlands is full of enemies you can empty clips of ammo into that aren't like bosses or mini bosses. They're just kind of there, doing their thing. Like, hell, some bosses are less dangerous in that game than some of their minions because they're big and have predictable attack patterns, while the minions will just, like, fucking gang rush you.
But Gage, I mean, with the mech, but also when you start getting some stacks with her, I mean, you start to rip stuff apart pretty easily,
but
too.
yes, but like I'm playing level 30 character in like level match zones. Like, it's the my fondest memories of that game, I think, involve being like too high a level for the zone I'm in, and that made the gameplay play a little bit better or something. This it doesn't feel good, and that's, I think, a big problem.
Yeah,
And like the writing is a little bit more irksome. Like, I still think Tiny Tina is a problem for that franchise. Like, I was doing some of the side missions, just kind of like, okay, am I being too hard on this? And I'm like, no, some of this old writing was bad and has not aged well, and like was funnier when I was like a young 20-year-old, and as a almost 30-year-old finds it irksome and annoying now. Like, shit, these vehicles were bad, and like like
yep.
The fact
Borderlands
that
Borderlands vehicles are trash. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just kind of a thing.
yeah,
I mean,
and
they're
like
really trash.
it's weird. Like, it's one of those ones where like the whole like, oh, we have the most guns in a video game. It's true. It's absolutely true still. Most of those guns are hot fucking garbage that you're never gonna actually bother equipping. Like, it's
Oh yeah, the combinations. I meit's cool to have so many different combinations possible, but the thing is, a lot of those combinations are bloody useless.
yeah, it's little moments like I started playing a base character before the DLC came out to let you boost, and I'd forgotten just how shitty the first like couple hours of Borderlands 2 are. Like, doing that whole like before you get your action skill, like when you have shitty gear and like maybe 2 weapon slots and all that game's kind of bad. Like, maybe not kind of, like that. I'm in hindsight kind of amazed I put up with that game to get through to what I remember being better parts of the game, but also having played this DLC, kind of go, was this actually good? Like, here's the thing too. I can't totally justify my my worry about Borderlands 3 now, because this is DLC for Borderlands 2. Like, there's just things you can't do in a piece of DLC that you can do in a full-on sequel. It still has to fit within the functional aspects of Borderlands 2. It has to use the same code, same structure, blah, 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 blah. The game looks nice. Like, it's got the cutscenes at least have a graphical boost, which is cool looking. But I've gone from being real excited for Borderlands 3 to, I've heard a bunch of people talk about how, between watching some E3 videos of them showing off some gameplay and hearing people talk about, like, yeah, it plays like a Borderlands game, I don't think that's a good thing. Like, I don't think there are better. Like, we've come very far in shooters, and there are 3 loot shooters out there right now. One of them is Anthem, that feels better in a second-to-second way to play than Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands has a bit of looseness to it. There again, it's hard to describe. It's not tight of play control.
Loose feels like the right word. Like I'd go so far as to call it jank or like arcadiness. Like
yeah, I can kind of see that.
It's got the problem where, and because of level and how your guns work and stuff, it is possible to put multiple headshots into an enemy that, like, in theory, you should be able to kill in a headshot, and they live. Like, Destiny's got a lot of faults, but, like, general grunt enemies and, like, lower-end enemies, as long as you're a high enough level to fight them, you hit their head, they die. And playing kind of a game where that does that and a game that doesn't do that simultaneously makes one of those games feel real fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, you end up doing more damage if you do hit somebody in the head. But yeah, it's not so, and it does make sort of people who like to play snipers, makes it harder to play as a sniper in that game. Because I know people who like to play snipers. So
I never played a sniper in that game post Borderlands 1.
And yeah, and there is, definitely a sniper class essentially. So I mean, but yeah, I think that's a thing. I mean, it is its own thing still. But yeah, I'm not sure if I would definitely buy Borderlands 3, to be perfectly honest, especially when I'm looking forward to stuff like The Outer Worlds.
Yeah, I can imagine a world where this piece of DLC is actively a hindrance to Borderlands 3 day one sales. Like, I'm gonna get it still because it's Borderlands, and I'm kind of curious, but like, I am actively less excited about that game because of something that should have been real cool and real fun, and as a result, it's just me going like, huh, right, this is what a Borderlands game is. I haven't played one of these in like 5 years. For reasons, apparently. Yeah, it's this weird one. Like, we've talked lots about like looter-shooter loot problems and stuff. It's like, oh, we need more loot. That game has too much loot. Like, it's when so much of shit is meaningless, it's just like, no, just give me money. Like, don't make me go through the process of picking up like 40 guns that are bullshit just to sell them, please.
Yep.
This isn't actually what I want. I know on paper a bunch of people are like, oh, we want loot to rain from the sky. It's like, that's cool. I want meaningful loot, not like bullshit. Man, I got this stack of sniper rifles and I'm a fucking arms dealer. I'm gonna go shove them all in a vending machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you do in that game.
If only you could do that with regular vending machines. I'm like unhappy with the candy bar I picked up, and I just shove it back in the machine.
Well, you can. You just don't get your money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As someone who saw someone take a shit into a vending machine kind of reach-in area, there are ways of getting back at vending machines. But...
All right. Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Wicked Awesome Cast. We had a good time. Laughs were had. Things were discovered. And we'll be absolving. This will be the last episode. That was it. I think we reached our point.
The homeless of LA are fantastic.
We had a good run, gents.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've also been playing not Borderlands. Destiny 2. I'm really enjoying my time in Season of Opulence. I finally did the Menagerie. The Menagerie is one of the coolest things added to that game, and as someone who like really enjoys when that game is cool, the Menagerie is real cool. It's like it is the first time they have put raid bullshit in a non-raid scenario in a meaningful way, and it is better for it. Like, they have the bullshit race segment from the very first raid in Destiny 2, which makes it cool. Like, they break up the action in neat ways. So there's a bunch of, like, it's just kind of ongoing puzzles that also you have to shoot stuff. It's really good. The Menagerie is real cool. I regret not getting into it sooner. Like, I got a quest where it's like, yo, go to the Menagerie. I'm like, fine, I'll go. Get there. This place is pretty cool. I'm kind of sad to come here sooner. Turns out Destiny 2, real good. Real good still. One of the progression issues I had seems to be fixed. I still can't advance my Drifter quest line, which sucks, but I'm still working through that Black Armory, which is nice. There's some cool guns in there, it turns out. Real cool. Yeah. Yeah, I guess last thing at this point, Agretzko, I think I'm pronouncing it right. The Fox that sings death metal, the second season came out, and it's as good as the first one.
Oh yeah, she's fantastic. I own some Agretsuko stuff.
Is there more than just the 2 seasons of it?
Not that I know of.
Fair enough. It's on the Christmas special, but yeah, that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to, Henry?
I decided to play around in Terraria a bit because I just hadn't played it in forever. And
that's the walking around the giant garden planet game, right?
It's Minecraft 2D. Straight up. It's Minecraft 2D. It really is. That's really what it is.
No, you're right, yeah. I'm trying to think of what game I'm thinking of now.
Unfortunately, the combat reminded me it's as clunky as it is in Minecraft. The combat in it is real bad. The combat is like an old Flash game.
Just hold down that mouse button and swing that pickaxe, man.
Yeah, it's not, but that's not the point of it. The point of it is exploration and building stuff, and yeah, it was cool. But it reminded me of why I don't generally tend to play it too often if I don't have a whole lot of people on a server.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that was cool. I mean, so I went back and also have been playing some I'm continuing to play Slay the Spire. I'm hopelessly addicted to that game because it's a great kind of casual game, and I say that not because it's like easy or something. By casual, I mean I can just pick it up, play it for a bit, and be done. Like play it through to the end, and within like 30 to 45 minutes easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a nice one just to pick up, and so I've been going back to that. And I've also been playing around with this free game called Viridi, like Viridi. How it's pronounced? I have no idea. But in any case, it's just a free game, and it's free. It's a simulator for growing succulents. So you just have this collection of succulents.
Okay,
and you
what's
just
this
water
playable
them.
on?
Steam. It's on Steam. You can just pick it up for free on Steam.
As someone who grows succulents, I'm gonna have to check this out. You've brought me two
Well,
great games to my attention, Henry. So we'll have Blood Garden and Succulent Digital Garden.
But yeah, it's actually kind of neat, and time actually passes, and you can like pick weeds out of it. So you de-weed it, you water things, and you can kind of sing to the plants too. It's nice and relaxing. And it's like free. I mean, it has some stuff you can buy if you wanted to buy more succulent plants, but it gives you a free new seedling every week. So yeah, it's actually kind of neat, especially a little game that's for free. If I just feel like relaxing a bit and just kind of playing around with the succulents, then I pull that game out. So
for those of you looking to have a green digital thumb.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, But yeah, other than that, I mean, it was just a lot of watching E3. I actually did catch a good bit of stuff live, to be honest.
It felt easier than normal to catch stuff this year because there was less stuff like between you were worried about catching.
Yeah, I mean, because some of the big ones, like, well, there again, because we had Google and Sony doing their own thing essentially, so that's two that weren't showing there. So I mean, there's that makes it even a little bit more sparse than usual, I would say. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really do much beyond that. So that was my week. It was kind of uneventful, other than just E3. But anyways,
Alex.
Let's see. I caught up with some of the stuff for E3. Granted, it just had a lot going on, so I didn't get to watch a lot of fun stuff. But before I go into the E3 stuff, I've also been on the Destiny 2 bandwagon. I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but I have been enjoying myself quite a bit, actually. So I'm playing through Warmind. I know I should just jump into Forsaken, but I'm finishing up through Warmind because I guess I had done what do you call it? Curse of Osiris a while
Yeah, we
ago.
did Curse of Osiris together,
Yeah.
actually. I
That's
think your
right,
friend
yeah.
kept spoiling parts of it for me. I kept yelling at him for it.
Yeah. So we did Curse of Osiris, but after Curse of Osiris was Warmind, right?
Yeah, that's the year
Okay.
1 DLC. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So then now I'm going through Forsaken, working my way through that right now. Well, not Forsaken, sorry. I'm finishing up Warmind.
I would recommend
just to
moving.
kinda-
So do the campaign for Warmind and then get the fuck off Mars for a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm just finishing the campaign up. That's all I'm doing right now.
Yeah, because there's a very long grindable activity to get some of the better guns on Mars that you can go into after, but I'd recommend being as high a light level as possible to tackle them, or we can tackle them together once I make the jump to PC.
Okay.
Like it's
But it's been fun, and just to kind of again bounce back on what you guys were saying, the snappiness of the shooting in that game is really fucking good. It definitely feels really, really good to shoot in that game. So, Division 2 has been shelved for the immediate future.
See Ice-T
then also-
out there tweeting about Division and like kind of his frustration with the end game.
No, I have not. I know he's a big gamer for sure.
He got out there and was tweeting about. He's like, "Man, fix this game. I got nothing to do in the end game." People are like, "Do the raid." He's like, "I'm not doing the raid. It seems fucked." And I'm like, "You're not wrong, Ice-T."
Yeah. But other than that, turns out we had a Ren Fair going on this past weekend. So I went out to the Ren Fair, and it was pretty nice.
I like Ren Fairs. I am personally a big fan of Ren Fairs. I have been to many, many, many in my day.
You've been to the LA one, right?
Yeah.
I have also been to the LA one.
I assumed you.
But
had.
it was something about it just being surrounded by trees for a Ren Fair made it feel a little bit more authentic. I feel like.
What, it's not in the stone quarry, and that makes it better?
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, it was really cool. I ended up buying my first one of those flip lid steins or tankards, whatever.
All tankards at that point.
Yes, I bought a tankard, my first one.
Nice.
And I like it. It's very rough around the edges, but I kind of appreciate that in a sense. So,
what's it made out of?
My first one, I don't know. It's not a heavy metal, which is nice.
So it's probably
I'll send you a
pewter,
picture of it. Yeah, I'll send you a picture.
You mean you didn't buy a big dumb weapon?
No, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, see, back in the day, I definitely have bought some stuff there. But the most ridiculous thing I've ever bought at a Ren Fair was a whip sword. I actually own a whip sword.
Which type of whip sword? Like a segmented blade thing, or one giant fuck off razor blade?
No, a segmented sword, like Ivy in Soul Calibur.
Okay.
It's as dangerous and dumb as it sounds. I've never tried swinging it. I'm pretty sure I would just die. It's big and heavy and dumb. It looks amazing because it's so ridiculous, but yeah, that's not ever getting used because it's just gonna hurt me and me only.
What happened to Henry? Whip sword.
It's like whips, dangerous. Swords, dangerous. Together, more dangerous. Yeah, so. But yeah, that's cool. I'm not sure if when I lived in Portland, I don't think I ever went to a Ren Fair while I was living there.
I think they just started doing them not too long ago, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. I like the way they do their ticket system because they do it for a weekend.
Oh,
you can buy a pass for the whole weekend, or you can buy a pass for one day.
Good. Kind of like a lot of like conventions and stuff. So
yeah,
that's
almost
cool.
convention-like.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but it was pretty nice. Like Manny and I went out there. We got to shoot bow and arrow, throw some axes, watch the jousting show, and it's basically like a little mini what do you call it? Medieval times. But it was funny because they had Scotland as one of them on there, and he just showed up with no shirt, wearing a kilt, riding a horse, and that's how he jousted.
I enjoy that his name's Scotland. It's like, it's me, John Scotland.
John Scotland, yes. But yeah, no, it was crazy because like all the other guys show up at night, like knight's armor and all that, and then Homeboy shows up in a kilt and a helmet with war paint on, no shirt. And so I was on sitting in the stands part for Spain, and he was a punching bag for the whole show. So it was funny because like they would be shouting things like "Spain brings the pain" and all sorts of shit. And then when he lost, I'm like, "Spain is in pain. Spain is in pain." People laughed. So I gotta get a laugh out of that.
It's me, John Scotland.
John Scotland. We actually ended up teaming up with John Scotland as part of the show. It's kind of nifty. And then, have you heard of Braun and Mooney? They're performers that travel around. For all these
yeah, I do know them. Brun and Mooney.
Brun.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we got to catch part of Brun's show. We didn't get a chance to catch Mooney's show, but Mandy's a big fan of them. So yeah, we
I
saw
always
them
assumed they had
for a bit.
active fans, but never thought I'd know one.
Yeah, no, they're pretty much at every Ren fair, so it's kind of nice to like see them around because they do their acts. They're pretty good. I enjoy watching them work. They're funny. But yeah, no, it was Ren fair was a nice time. I have to say, I genuinely enjoyed it.
Did you dress up for it though? Just curious.
And, I dressed up in my normal human clothes.
Okay.
Yes.
See, last time I went, I made samurai armor for it. It's actually on. You can actually see a picture of it on. You can see a picture of it on my IG. Actually, it's like one of the first pictures I ever took on my IG account. But yeah, I made it out of trash cans, like plastic trash cans, and protein containers, like big protein bin containers, because they're all curved. It's a giant cylinder, and so it actually makes it really cool for different parts of the armor. But I also took a bunch of parachute cord, a bunch of paracord, and basically cut it out, punch a bunch of holes in it, and strung it up as kind of accurately as I could find when I researched a bit about it. So yeah, I kind of tend to go all out when I have a chance to costume up. So, and yeah, I am a big fan of Ren fairs. So yeah, into it.
I will probably, if I do cosplay this year, I will dress up as Fat Thor from Avengers Endgame. So, because I now have the body of a god. Not an overused joke at all, guys.
Yay.
But yeah, that was pretty much it for my week. Like, just playing WoW, getting ready for the new tier, which should be coming out in about a month. I'm probably going to be switching over to Elemental Shaman, which would be kind of nice. Just because they do a lot more damage than my rogue, and I'm kind of getting a little bit bored of my rogue, so it'll be nice to change it up. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to playing some more D2. I've had a lot of fun playing D2. Like, it's interesting. It's refreshing. I don't know what it is about the game, but it's refreshing. I don't know if Charlie can put it to words, but something about D2 now is just kind of refreshing.
The phrase I have been using is there's now enough stuff to do in that game that it feels like it respects your time. I've always described WoW as at its best when you can Destiny. Like, Destiny is most fun when you can do whatever you want and still feel like you're making progress. Like, I personally love the blacksmith mode. Like, it is dumb in a way I find really fun and kind of want them to make it a versus multiplayer or PvP multiplayer out of that mode. Like, there's something about how those silly forge mechanics works that I find fun because it's basically basketball. Like, it is you killing enemies to pick up charges to then throw at the forge to keep it lit. And it's dumb, but it's fun and it's silly, and like you're making weapons that way, and that's a terrible way to make weapons, but I don't know, I think it's cool. Like, it feels very Gambit in the way I enjoy Gambit, I guess. Like, but they now have like stuff you can do where it's like, yeah, just go kill enemies. Can I do that in Gambit? We don't care where you kill enemies. Just go kill them. I'm going to Gambit then. I'm gonna play my favorite game mode for an hour or two. I know it's like a raving idiot whenever I go on about this. Like, there's a glut of things to do and accomplish, and as a result, like, you feel like you're making progress as opposed to just grinding away at stuff. And this is how kind of Taken King felt towards its end, where there was just shit to do. Like, like, playing made sense. Like, it was the go do what you want. There's a reason to, and I don't think Forsaken, when it came out, had that necessarily going. And I wish I'd come back for Black Armory, because I think that's when things started to change in a meaningful way. But also, like, this menagerie, it is ridiculous, but like, it is something game developers that make first-person shooters should maybe study. If you're trying to make a not another first-person shooter, the menagerie is finally kind of what Destiny players have always wanted out of a match-made, repeatable, like, half-hour activity. And it's great. Like, I have nothing but good things to say about it. And it makes me more willing now to go and do other stuff, so I have the good gear for Menagerie. Like, it's got me back on the grind, because it's like, no, you have to level up for Menagerie. You need to get better, so you're not the worst person on your team anymore. Like, this is a thing you need to do now, Charlie. Yeah, it's got a lot of runway now, and I think, like, Season of Opulence puts Destiny 2 just in a good spot. And, like, here's the thing. The game has always been good. It's was the game worth playing that was the problem. Like we talked about earlier, the second-to-second gameplay is good. Shooting in that game feels good. Like, there's no bad feeling weapon type. Like, even, God, what are they called? The sidearms that are basically just like rapid-fire pistol-y things feel different than hand cannons, and both are nice feeling. I don't know. Yeah, there's a feeling to Destiny that a lot of games don't touch. Like, in other games, I feel like it feels like Halo. We're just like, Halo feels good to play. The way things die and it feels good. The loop feels good. Like, they fixed the economy a bunch for Destiny 2, so it's not as messed up. Yeah. I'm glad you're having fun, Alex. It makes me really happy, because I'm looking forward to when I make the jump to PC playing with you in Shadowkeep. I really am. Like,
yes.
I'm looking forward to having that game be a social thing and not just me fucking lone wolfing it and wrecking in Gambit.
Oh yeah. Hopefully it translates over to PC. I was hearing all your stories of you wrecking people. I'm intrigued.
So long as I can get my shooting down, I will still be a force of reckoning in Gambit. Like, I had a match last night that I managed to summon 3 15 moat blockers. I stopped 4 invaders with a bow. Like, I was on fire. Like, maybe people have gotten worse at Gambit again, or like they finally balanced it the right way, but like, we had an invader come over, and invaders have a huge advantage, and just saw me, and he started to run, and I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm coming for you! You come to my side of the map? It's been fun. Side note on that game you were talking about, Henry, Verity? It appears to be on almost all platforms. Like, it's on, like, phones and shit like that, too.
Yeah, I imagine so. It's not exactly a game that's burning up your CPU.
I was just curious, yeah. It's got a soothing look to it, and I'm like, that looks nice. I wonder if I can play that on my phone. You can. Yeah. Is that it for everyone's weeks?
I think so.
Pretty much.
Okay. Obviously, we're going to talk about E3 stuff. We've got some news to get through first, because no rest for the wicked, I guess, or something like that. Alex, if you'll intro the news for us. Thank you. So this is where it gets weird. Like, this isn't necessarily news about E3. If it was just news about E3, we would talk about it as part of E3. But we're going to start off with something fun. The next home for Fallout Shelter is the Tesla. Our joke about how the Tesla is the new platform for video games from last week has become a dark reality we all should feel ashamed about.
Yeah, why did we do this? Why didn't... This is unsurprising, because it's Elon Musk being Elon Musk.
You gotta move those units somehow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that does it for our funny news this week, I guess. We got kind of 4 major ones, then we'll use the dovetail into actual E3-ness. Which do you guys want to talk about first? Because all of them are kind of heavy in their own, so I just want to go down the list, because that makes it easier.
Well, I know the ones that I'd like to talk at length on.
Sure.
It doesn't really matter.
Let's start with the Amazon one. For those not
Okay.
familiar with this, Amazon has a gaming system thing called Lumberyard. It's a kind of development platform. It's similar to the CryEngine. It's like Unity and all those other kind of game development tools. And they also employ, I did not know this, some in-house game developers. And they laid off a shit ton of them kind of in the middle of E3, which people lose their jobs all the time, but like in the games industry, it's kind of getting laid off on the 4th of July or on Christmas.
Yeah. That's pretty low. I mean, it just goes to so many different things, but it's like these places are not budgeting correctly, or they just don't really care to budget for the long term, and they just budget for the short term. And so I can't say that you are good at business if you're literally laying off dozens of people. That just tells me you actually don't know what you're doing.
And
Go ahead.
The explanation given is kind of they are reorganizing to focus on a few games they have in development right now that will hopefully kind of launch the platform up. Most notably of as New World and Crucible. I don't know what Crucible is, but New World is that colonization MMO we kind of made fun of a couple months ago, I think. So that seems like a dark horse to back personally, but here we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Allegedly, this is kind of normal business quotations around all that, which isn't great to hear, but also isn't surprising at this point.
I'm sick of that being normal business.
Yes, I am too.
I mean, we've all made our feelings on this extraordinarily clear. But yeah, it's just, it's a problem with kind of corporate world and corporate America.
Yeah.
But just corporate world in general is the devaluing of your workers that are actually getting the actual work done. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to change until we have a union.
Yep. And it gets weirder too. Like some of the bigger names they hired, like the director behind Far Cry 2 and Portal and other games that are of note, like they've chosen to leave. Hell, they canceled their first kind of big game, I guess, back in 2017 called Breakaway, which the fact that none of us know what any of these things are probably speaks more than we have time to go into right now. But yeah,
it kind of goes to show you that no matter, even if you're super Amazon rich,
yeah,
you can't always just throw money at a thing and expect it to work. I mean, there's plenty of examples of people throwing tons of money at things and it just doesn't work out. It just sounds like they don't really know what they're doing over at Amazon Games. They've got some weird leadership going on there that doesn't seem to know what they are doing. So,
yeah. Not much more of the story than a bunch of people lost their jobs in the middle of a week where typically you think of jobs in the games industry as being safe-ish, but maybe for Amazon, you don't give a fuck on that one. Let's talk about Riot for a couple minutes now.
Riot.
The whipping boy that will not quit. What do we fucking want it to?
All right, so essentially, yeah, they are being investigated now by the state of California for gender discrimination, and specifically into pay. It looks like in this case, and yeah, the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing is now investigating them for real now, and apparently Riot Games has not been cooperating, and that's gonna make it all the worse.
And
so,
this kind of falls in the category of who's surprised, show of hands.
Yeah, yeah. It's just, we just keep hearing worse and worse stuff about them. But you know what? I'm glad that this is being shown sunlight. I mean, these things are now out in the open, and it seems like people are actually caring about it. I mean, I like that the state of California is now involved.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good thing, because
It's an important thing.
Who's going to regulate them? It's not going to be me, the person with no power. It kind of have to leave it up, hope that, in this case, I'm really happy that they're getting involved. I think they should have been involved in more stuff that Riot's been doing horribly. But you know what? This is good. This is good. I'm glad it's being investigated. Yeah. Yeah, and so, there again, it's like, chalk this one up to shocking but not surprising.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where kind of like as part of the E3 stuff I was watching, the Riot is a big deal right now, and kind of this something that a bunch of game devs talked about is the idea where it's like boycotting actually isn't the solution as much as people think it is, because the bosses get paid first. Like, it's one of those ones where we often say, like, just don't buy this game if you object to it, but it's one of those ones where it's like, no, don't do that, but also keep in mind the fact that, like, if enough people buy that game, CEOs still get their bonuses and shit like that. Like, it's not you're not paying the workers first and then going up from there. It's very much big heads get their money first, and then they make sure everyone else gets paid if they can. And
Mm-hmm. But how else? But the thing is, how else are you really going to teach them a lesson if you just keep putting money in their pockets?
No, and
you keep telling them it's just fine, keep doing the thing that you're doing.
That's the thing. Like, it's the idea that, like, if you keep fucking engaging with the problem, like, it's one of those ones where it's, as long as you keep dragging the topic out into light, like, if the Riot employees kind of were talking about the fact that they're getting investigated, and, like, the employees don't seem to actually have a problem with this. Like, it's apparently shit there is bad enough. Like, and some of the interviews I watched, kind of, it came out that, like, the stuff we've been made aware of via Kotaku and Polygon and Gamasutra and other people that have doing articles on that, some people there had no idea that was going on, and, like, the stuff that we found pretty appalling, other people have had the reaction of, oh, there's so much worse happening here, actually. Which doesn't surprise me, but, like, also it's the, holy shit, how fucked is your organization that people are hacked, like, a percentage of your population is having the reaction of, like, what, this is it? Like, yeah, everyone knows this is going on, right? Like, there's way worse shit going on behind the scenes.
But I mean, the thing is, and like I said, this is why this is the point I'm about to make is why I'm so happy that California's finally getting involved. Is most of the time, just bring it out into the open, literally nothing happens, nobody gets punished. Did anybody get punished for any of the stuff that happened before? Did anybody get punished for it?
No, and I think that's kind of what's led to now. It's the fact that people have kind of kept the focus on it, though. Like, it's...
But I mean, the thing is, for loads of that stuff, they aren't going to get punished, and you know what? Even though the state of California is investigating them right now, they might not end up with anything from this.
Oh, yeah,
and
no.
Definitely, specific people aren't going to get punished. They aren't going to bring out the CEO in handcuffs, though they probably should. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like, unless you have to vote with your dollar. If you don't vote with your dollar, they will never get punished, because we can't rely entirely on the state to do this. I'm glad that the state is getting involved finally on at least one aspect of this, that is that they can actually go after, breaking state employment laws. But I mean, everything else that have been going on, it's all civil suits. And the thing is, you aren't going to teach these companies a lesson unless you stop buying their stuff.
Yeah.
They will literally never learn. I mean, yes, unionization, yes, that is absolutely another key. But the thing is, boycotts traditionally have worked wonders for lots of different reasons. I can name several boycotting campaigns that have been amazingly, like, meaningful.
In the games industry, though?
I mean, no, because people won't do it. People just buy the freaking games. They won't make a ruckus. They won't make a furor over it. They'll just be like, well, I like the game too much, so I'm just going to buy it anyways. Well, you're not helping things. Yeah, I try to buy ethically. This is just my own personal thing.
No.
And it's not always possible, and I understand that. I super understand that. But with games, you don't need that game. You don't. It's not like you're buying bread here. You're buying a video game. You're buying entertainment. And yeah, maybe you can give up that one game if you actually want humans to be treated better. Could you at least give up a video game? I mean, it doesn't seem like much of a sacrifice to me for like human lives. Give up a video game. Save a life. I mean, it doesn't seem like a hard concept to me. It's like I'm not having to give up anything that's difficult. It's not like I'm having to give up eating for to help them out. I could just not buy a piece of entertainment. So that's that's where I stand. I mean, it's not going to change, and they don't care because they only really care about the money line when it comes down to it. What's profitable, what's not. And maybe if you cause them to make a cynical change because they're forced into it, that's fine, but you aren't going to force them unless you hit them where they actually care, which is their profits. If you ruin their profits, they will listen. I guarantee you they will.
I would say to a certain extent they'll listen, because when the profits start to drop, the people at the top who make the big decisions will still get their due.
Yeah, but they'll start to panic because if your company is just not profitable, it doesn't matter how high you are. If the whole company collapses, you go down with that.
Yeah, but those people have guaranteed sign bonuses for what they do anyway. That's the reason you have these big, like, CEOs who take over companies that are failing, and then they just turn to shit anyway, but they still get their due. It happened with the Toys R Us CEO. It happened with the Sears CEO. You have all these guys, everybody else who was hired got fucked. Those big guys, they get their due, regardless. And it's because the system itself is set up in a shitty manner.
Then it's time to break the system. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And one of the ways to break that system is to make sure that the companies that hire these honestly sociopathic CEOs, make sure that these companies don't get profit. That's the thing. They're, again, voting with your dollars. If a company hires a CEO that's sociopathic, you should be like, no, I'm not going to give you money because your CEO is a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's not going to change. It's never going to change unless we do something about it. And just buying the stuff anyways doesn't help anything at all. I mean, maybe in the short run, it's like maybe some people might not get laid off. But as we've seen, it doesn't matter how profitable they are or how well they're doing. They will just lay off people because that's what they do to make a few extra bucks so they can buy that second yacht. So, I mean, yeah. Screw them. Take away their livelihood. Make sure that these types of CEOs are no longer, this type of management is no longer welcome at any company. That's how it stops. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If your prey flees, leave them no home to return to. Burn everything. Make sure that they don't have an office, another CEO, cushy CEO position to get into. You burn it all. End rant.
I don't think anything you said is wrong or kind of inappropriate at this point. Like, it's one of those ones where someone who often like takes the stance of fix this so the government doesn't because you don't want the government fixing this. I am very curious how this whole proceeding goes down because it may set an important precedent. Like, it's no secret to a lot of people that the games industry has a whole mess of social problems, whether it be gender, race, kind of even being appropriate to your employees. Like, it has a reputation for being juvenile because of the unfortunate amount of frequency it is juvenile. Fuck, like this podcast occasionally, like in a sea of podcasts, we are definitely on the kind of like, let's say swear words because it's fun end of the spectrum. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking more about this in the hopefully near future, but probably kind of ongoing future, just because these types of things take time. But I think it'll be fascinating to see what comes of this. And it will absolutely suck, and it will be a problem, I think, if nothing does. But I'm willing to kind of, for the time being, at least cross my fingers and be like,
oh yeah,
California's a progressive enough state that maybe something will happen, and Riot is a big enough company that, like, this is going to sound terrible, the company's worth enough money that's actually worth California's time to go through and actually maybe have an opinion as opposed to being like, only hurting 12 people.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I am, and I am optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic about it because they're actually getting involved, and it seems like they probably have a solid investigation here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that they can just check via numbers. So I mean, this is going to be something that's a little bit easier for them to actually really dive into. Whereas some of these, there again, like these allegations, it's harder. It is harder. It's not impossible, of course. There's going to be civil suits, but it is harder. But in this case, the state of California is going after something that is very concrete, extremely concrete evidence. It would be hard for them to hide what they're paying people when that's knowledge that you can get. That is available knowledge. So, yeah. How about we throw in a bit of a palate refresher in between?
Obviously, that's transition, but because it's an easy transition to make. You want to talk about Bowser quickly?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Bowser.
Yeah.
Kind of to spoil one of the greatest moments of E3, Nintendo got out there and officially recognized that their new, head of Nintendo America? Like, what's his official CEO?
President of Nintendo America.
That's the right phrase. That's what I was looking for. Is indeed one Doug Bowser. I believe it's Doug Bowser. and
they definitely had fun with it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's fun.
It's one of those ones where there was only two ways to go with this one. They could have acted like absolutely nothing, or they could have done a little thing with Bowser in a tie, which, by the way, I now want Bowser in a tie, the amiibo. I think Bowser looks great in a tie. And then have him be confused as to which Bowser is actually the president of America, Nintendo, or Nintendo America, and then have him step in and just be like, yup, I'm Bowser. Yuck it up, Internet. But beyond kind of being a great meme source for E3, he also, as part of E3, got out there and talked about how he really hates the idea of crunch and how he's going to try and help Nintendo kind of steer into the not crunch land. It's been interesting E3 for that, where, like, be as cynical as you want on this one. I certainly am being, but you had, like, Animal Crossing get delayed because they don't want to put their employees through crunch. You had the CD Projekt Red president, CEO, owner, whatever his exact title is, get out there and say, we are working our asses off to avoid crunch for Cyberpunk. Lots of companies out there very trendily saying, we're trying our hardest to avoid putting people through crunch, which is great, and even if you arrive at a good outcome via cynical means, it's still a good thing, I think. But yeah, I think it's important to see as high-ranking a member as Mr. Doug Bowser. I just want to call him Bowser for short. I know I can't because then it's
just call him Bowser.
Just call him Bowser.
Fine.
It's important to see kind of someone as high-ranking in a company like Nintendo get out there and condemn the practice. And yes, you can be as cynical as you want with the whole, oh, it's easy to say it but hard to do it. Yeah, we get it, but have an official stance on it is something nice, especially to see out of one of the big three, if you will.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, I absolutely agree that, yeah, I don't care if it's cynically based or not. The point is, it's out there, it's being said, and now it's public knowledge, and you're going to be held to it.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. It's like, there is now a level of accountability for these companies that are coming out and saying, making good statements about, against the idea of crunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really happy that he, for one, has already out the gate. I mean, in his first major public appearance, this is something he felt was important enough to say on literally his first major public appearance in his new position. So that's to be commended, honestly. I mean, it's not necessary. It is trendy, but it's not necessarily that popular. I mean, we can still count the number of people that have made statements like this on one hand.
Yeah.
So yes, it is trending to a certain extent, but it's not like it's happening all over. So, because a lot of them don't want to make statements about it because they know that they'll be caught up in it because they engage in it regularly.
Yeah. No, and like I said,
yeah. but super cool. I mean, honestly, there again, yeah, like you said, cynical or not, it's great, fantastic. I mean, I applaud them.
Yeah.
They could have talked about a lot of things. I mean, like I said, this was his first public outing, and it's like, what do you want to be as, what people will remember you as in your introduction. People are going to remember this. I mean, because it's his first major thing. So I mean, that's pretty big, really.
Mm.
But,
yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see more statements out there like this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. Our last piece of kind of... This one's actually less uncomfortable and more kind of step in the right direction, but the internet's also terrible.
Yes.
All right, so Cyberpunk 2077, a game about kind of human modification and what it means to be human, etc., dating all the way back to its roots in the tabletop community that were a little bit controversial, actually, has, as part of a tech demo, as part of it was the PC gaming show, actually, there was a poster, or they were showing a scene that had a poster that had a trans model in the poster, kind of thing. For those curious, this wasn't some kind of like overly explicit poster. It was a highly sexualized one, and the internet lost its shit on this topic.
Because actually, it was a little bit of explicit. Have you actually seen?
Yeah,
have you seen the poster?
I guess like as someone who's read a magazine recently, that feels like something you get away with in the modern era, and this may be kind of my ignorance on this topic. Like, it feels appropriate to what that game is, unfortunately.
Compare it to other ads in the game.
I haven't seen other ads, I guess. Like, I love one of those 3 posters, and I think it's...
Yeah, and to me, it's in poor taste.
In poor taste, definitely, but I'd also say, like, the real world would not be free of equally
Let's just
poor
say
taste.
that there's not a lot of good trans representation in media, period. And what it is, it's either sexualized and fetishized like this, or it's condemned. And that's the only 2 you usually ever get to see. I mean, I can count the number of decent representation of trans persons in media on one hand. And now I'm talking about, like, going back way far. It's like, like, I think, like, one of them is Twin Peaks. Like, in Twin Peaks, there's a character that is just trans. The character that David Duchovny plays. I don't remember her name.
Sure.
The character's name.
I would also bring up the fact that this is the game that has, as part of its kind of marketing material, shown the lady in the bra with the removable jaw. Like,
yeah, and I don't know. It just it's exhausting, and like I said, it's exhausting trying to find good representation because this is not good representation. And so, but yeah, not to belabor that point, which is already, I mean, this is something that came up, but what we actually want to talk about is that CD Projekt Red are actually responding to this criticism, and they're actually going to try to make sure that their character creation system is way more inclusive.
And that's actually why I brought up the origins of the game, because going all the way back to the pen and paper stuff, the concept of body modification, like, there were rules in the game for actually making your character trans. It was, unfortunately at the time, a negative penalty to your character's kind of overall stats. I believe it was like a -1 to humanity or something like that, because but the humanity stat was also kind of like connection to your body, which was a whole other weird thing. Cyberpunk the tabletop is weird. We're going to talk about it more in a couple minutes, but like, if they're going to, in earnest, actually make kind of this a thing you can do in the game and have it just kind of be a thing as opposed to a negative thing.
A mechanic?
Yeah, a mechanic.
Yeah. So, and you know what? There again, this was what I was telling you about pressure. I mean, all this took was public pressure of people rightfully pretty upset about it, because there again, you usually find either, overly fetishized representations or just really negative representations there for the humor value.
Yeah.
Ha ha, the guy's a girl. Ha ha. No, not cool. But they didn't. I mean, they didn't. I'm not saying they did that. But
Yeah,
I'm saying it's a matter of representation, and trans persons have it harder.
Yeah.
Than most people. Period. I mean, it's just high levels of violence and poverty. I mean, it's bad, and yeah, I'm glad that they are choosing to respond to it in a positive way instead of. They could have taken a lot of ways to this. I think it would have been really dumb to do, especially during Pride Month.
Yeah.
But
and
yeah,
I think part of the issue is the company historically has not necessarily handled this topic well. Like we on this on this podcast have talked about at least one. I think we talked about the second time. Like their marketing team needs to get fired a little bit every once in a while when they say something in poor taste or have a kind of member of the staff get out there and say something where it's like, no, you do know you're making cyberpunk, right? Like this is a charged game from a variety of angles, and like you can't act like you're doing one thing and then have some asshole out there saying like, oh, but this. Yeah. A part of me almost wonders if there wasn't the backstory on this one, if kind of the first half of this topic would have even existed. Like it does not seem to be in the best of taste, but also like this is a highly sexualized game, hypothetically. Like it's what they've shown of this game already has put The Witcher in some ways to shame in the kind of we're gonna show tits aspect of thing. Like it's the Cyberpunk is a bizarre world of kind of marketing critiques and what does it mean to be human, and it's kind of taking kind of modern concepts to just an extreme degree. But we'll see. Like it's one of those ones where if the game comes out and this truly, like, I will happily change my sense of this is egregious and kind of fetishistic. But someone wrote a great article on kind of like just let them make the game they're trying to make and we'll judge it later. And I think that's at least for me the stance I want to take for now, because I don't know kind of what that game is yet. And it's one of those ones where I am more than happy to be like, nah, this is in poor taste, when I can actually judge it. I still haven't seen that game outside of a YouTube window kind of thing.
But I will say this, from a development perspective, you want changes to be early in the process, not late.
Yes.
And the earlier that changes happen, you don't want to keep throwing stuff into it late. I mean, it's an idea called feature creep.
Yep. That we talk about with a lot of frequency lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. But that's why I'd rather, something come to light right now, and then they can say, all right, we can actually work on that now. We have time to work on it now.
Yeah.
This isn't something that was brought up a month before it's released, so they scramble around just to do something. This is months before the release, so there is actually time to work on this. Because they are still in the process of just creating the character creator. And so this is the time when feedback is absolutely needed, now rather than later, when it's still in development, in development proper. So.
Yeah. I look forward to the game at this point. I think it could be something. I think it could be a real problem too.
Yep.
And I don't think it's fair to the game to. These are definitely things worth talking about beforehand, but I'm not sure it's fair to the game to condemn it before we can actually look at it in a broader picture just yet.
Well, I'm not condemning.
No, I'm not saying you are, but like it's a lot of people like we as a society like jump to a decision the moment we have enough information to make a decision, and I think it's one of those ones where like, if you judge the Witcher franchise off some of its ad campaigns from the earlier Witcher games, you'd have been like, yeah.
I'm personally not a fan of the Witcher series.
Don't
at me.
Like parts of Witcher. I think the combat in 3 is bad. I think the world has been cool. Which is why I'm curious about Cyberpunk, because the combat looks good. But that kind of does it for our newsy news aspects of this week. Which means it's time to talk about E3. And
oh boy!
Right off,
yeah.
And right off the bat, we're going to talk about how Keanu, Johnny Silverhands, Reeves? Fucking up Keanu Reeves' name now, Reeves. Fucking 1E3. And we're just getting this one out of the way because often we'll kind of do some fun, silly, like, oh, who 1E3 thing at the end, and it's Keanu. It's fucking Keanu.
No, he is a treasure. He is a international treasure, and including him just makes your whatever you're doing more beloved.
Yeah, and I think my favorite kind of part of this whole Keanu saga is the original developer for Cyberpunk. Let me look up his name quickly.
And you're talking about Cyberpunk 2020.
Yes. Hope I'm right on this one. Mike Pondsmith? Poundsmith, is that right?
I don't know.
I hope it is. Yes, Mike Poundsmith. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Sorry if I'm not, dude. He has been very involved in the whole kind of adapting Cyberpunk from a tabletop game into a video game, and as a part, like apparently the CD Projekt will go to him with approvals, and when they said like, "Hey, we want to use Johnny Silver," for those not familiar with Cyberpunk, Johnny Silverhand is a very real in lore character who's a big deal, and kind of simply referencing him as a big kind of look how much we're actually pulling from the old books moment for Cyberpunk 2077. And I guess his response was like, yeah, that's cool, like totally use him, like it makes sense, like how you're going to use him. They're like, okay, so here's the breakdown of him. He's going to be like an AI ghost, okay, and we're trying to get Keanu Reeves to play him. And apparently the dude just fucking lost his mind. He's like, that's the perfect character. And then when they got him, it was like, yeah, so we got him. He's like, holy shit. Like, the guy's been out there on Twitter and shit being like, holy shit, we got Keanu Reeves to play Johnny Silverhand. He's like, if I had known about the Matrix when I wrote Cyberpunk, I'd have made that. That's the guy I'd have thought would have been him. Which is just fun. It's after how kind of shitty the relationship between CD Projekt Red and the Witcher developer was, it's just kind of what I want to see at this point.
Yeah, a good relationship between creator and developer. Yeah. But yeah, Keanu was delightful because he's just comes across as genuine, because it strikes me he's kind of genuine.
Yeah.
And when he was on stage, it's just this very genuine energy. This happy to be here, happy to introduce this stuff. He has things to say, but he's also just kind of enjoying being there and enjoying being part of a game.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where if it was any other actor, I'd be a little more cynical, and if it was any other game, I'd be more cynical. But like the guy's not been in a lot of video games. To hear him talk, like all the interviews post the reveal have been just kind of heartwarming of him being like, it's really cool to be in a video game that's not off of a movie I was in. Like, the guy seems genuinely excited. When they approached him, it was like, are you sure you want me to be in your video game? Like, no, yeah, we think you're Johnny Silverhand, and then he read the books, and he's like, I want to be this character. Here's my take on this character. They're like, dude, that's the correct take. All of the stuff to come after the fact is great.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's what you want out of a big celebrity being involved in a video game. Like, how many times, like, after the fucking Ronda Rousey playing Sonya Blade in Mortal Kombat 11 and just it feeling bad and unwanted, the fact that Keanu seems kind of happy about this, like, it's a new branch for my career. Cool. I'm John Wick and Johnny Silverhand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, he was also Johnny Mnemonic.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to throw the Johnny Mnemonic angle on this one, but thanks for catching that one.
Makes a lot of sense in the modern context, doesn't it? But
yeah,
like between kind of all, I've super enjoyed all the memes of Keanu throwing to weird stuff. Like, people have been taking that video clip and just making it in their own kind of Nightmare Factory thing. It's great. I highly recommend diving into that, because, like, it ranges from him being like, either my favorite one is him throwing to himself, or him like throwing to like weird cat videos and shit like that, or him like throwing just a blank screen. It's like, yes, you all get the point of this meme. Congratulations.
So there are like two different Keanu memes flying around right now. There's that one there's also the one, I guess, because he was recently in that "Always Be My Maybe" show or Netflix movie,
which is also great.
So, yeah, if you haven't seen that, that's also a great movie. I haven't seen it yet, but Mandy saw it and she said it was fucking great. She's seen it twice now. But I guess there's one now where they have Keanu walking into music, and they just change the music he walks into. There's an entire Twitter account dedicated to it. So something about that man. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So there's two current Keanu memes on the rise, if you're into the meme economy, if you will, because of this. So
you're skipping.
Also,
you're skipping over also one other meme, but I'll go into that in a second.
Is it the breathtaking thing?
Yeah.
So
that's my favorite one.
Little fun tidbit on that one. Charlie, we know the guy who yelled, "You're breathtaking."
We do?
What?
Yes. He was part of Extra Life LA.
Oh,
really?
Who was it?
Do you remember Peter Sark? He used to do all the AV stuff.
I think he was before my time, but...
Okay. Well, yeah, that was him.
Huh.
He's the one who yelled it out.
That's cool.
So, it's funny because So I thought that was really interesting because it turns out it was one of the people that was involved in Extra Life LA. So he actually helped us do a lot of the AV stuff early on.
Yeah, I think I took over his job
time.
because he stopped coming, I think, or something. I don't remember.
Yeah, well, he was doing his own thing afterwards. But have you heard the little controversy post your breathtaking event, if you will?
No, what happened?
Henry, have you heard? Do you know where I'm going with this one?
No, I don't.
Okay, so there's a whole clip with obviously he yells, "You're breathtaking," and then Keanu's like, "You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking."
Yeah.
And so CD Projekt Red reached out to Peter and said, "Hey, we want to give you a free copy of the collector's edition to Cyberpunk 2077." And he was like, "That's cool and all, but would you donate a Xbox Gamers Outreach cart to a children's hospital instead?"
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's getting mixed reviews, actually. And I'm interested in taking your take. So here are the two sides here. And I totally get his background because I don't know if, well, obviously you guys don't know much about him, but
talked about Extra
he was
Life
involved
a
with
bunch, though, and stuff. Like if he was involved in that, the move makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So have you guys heard of Gamers Outreach?
Yes.
They're a pretty popular charity out there.
Specific organization, no.
So what they do is they make rollable console carts for hospitals.
Oh, these things, they're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, funny you mentioned that, Charlie. We know the guy who runs Gamers Outreach. Yeah, he was on. Remember when we did the panel for doing charity gaming a long time ago? You and I.
The only funny part of that panel, yes.
He was on that panel. His name's Zach. Zach Wiggle. He was featured actually on the 30 Under 30 for some tech stuff.
We should have him on the podcast at some point. Just ruin his career by accident, but...
But yeah, it's just this weird little wonderful, like, small world situation here. But, so he runs Gamers Outreach, and so he makes these carts that are cost about... They usually have Xboxes in them, I believe. So it's an Xbox, it's a monitor, some controllers, and some games, and the cart itself, and it goes for about $3,500 completed build. So that's what they go for.
If you're looking for kind of a mental reference, imagine like a like the food carts they have on airplanes. They're kind of fully self-contained. They have slots they put stuff in. Like it's a little unit you can roll around a hospital. It's not just like some shitty IKEA 4-rack thing. It's you can even lock them and stuff like that. They're fall downstairs and everything is fine inside of them, sturdy too.
Yeah, they are built they're built to hospital standards of like sanitation and stuff like that as well. And it's one of the reasons why it's so modular and stuff. So it's super cool. But yeah, all right. So I already know where I fall on the side of this, but
so I'll present you the story, and I want to hear you guys' take on this one. Because it's also been one of the big things they've been talking about recently is, so CD Projekt Red reached out to him and said, "Hey, we want to give you a free copy of our collector's edition." Cool. And so he replies back, "That's cool and all, but how about you guys donate a cart to a children's hospital instead from Gamers Outreach?" And so the two sides are, that's really cool. He's using a moment to kind of be like, hey, let's give to a charity, this and that. The other people are like, dude, you're basically strong-arming a company to now have to do a charitable action because if they don't, they look like jerks. So those are the two angles that have been kind of popping up as of late. So I wanted to hear your take on this.
I probably fall on both sides of that argument simultaneously. Like, I am a strong believer in an altruistic thing done for maybe not the best reasons is still an altruistic thing that got done, so it's kind of a, if you're looking kind of the karmic thing, it's a zero, but like, this could make kids that are sick happier, and like, if you want to pull the real cynical Charlie comment, like, break down the price difference between the collector's edition and the cart. Like, that's maybe the one spot where I'm like, one of these is way more expensive than the other, but at the same time, it's like, no, because I want there now to be a CD Projekt Red branded cart in some kid's hospital where it's like, we're the Cyberpunk and Witcher people. Children should not be playing our games.
I don't know if they brand them specifically to the...
I think they should have to in this case.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I definitely fall on the side of, I'm glad that he's using it as an opportunity to be like, hey, here's a chance at charity. A charity, it's not like, you mentioned, you went on and described how he is super involved in this sort of thing. It isn't out of nowhere. So, but yeah. I can understand this discrepancy in what's being offered and what he's asking for. But,
yeah,
you know what? Maybe I think he just wants more visibility for this charity, which is pretty cool. But even that, like, I would actually just, want a donation straight to a children's hospital. But I mean, that's also kind of just me. I mean, but the carts, the games. I mean, there's been studies about how we can literally take your mind off of pain, and it helps a lot with pain management. And so that's and in just general, just making it a little brighter because, man, hospitals can be pretty lonely and dark, man.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I think I can understand the two sides, but I know where I would land on.
Okay. Well, I'm glad I kind of presented it without tainting it too much.
Yeah.
Because now I want to give you really quick some context on his background, which is why I'm kind of leaning towards the, hey, it's a cool moment to like get a cart for.
Well, so I do want to throw one kind of qualifier actually on this one. Mm-hmm. It is his company, or he's involved in the company.
Yes.
And that I maybe take a little issue with. Because that's technically business for his company.
No, Peter's not involved with this company at all.
Based on what you described it as, I thought he was like involved in the company.
It's just one that he likes a lot.
Yeah. But I'm fine, yeah.
So Peter is not involved with Gamers Outreach at all, other than maybe trying to get a card at some point. Just kind of like how we do Extra Life. We participate in it, but we're not actual owners or involved directly in the company in that sense. So Peter actually had his sister pass away at a children's hospital a long time ago. And so he's been doing charity stuff, I think specifically with CHLA outside of Extra Life for a while now. So it's not new for him. So I think given the context of knowing that before, I'm kind of cool with this because it is a cool moment. But I also want to talk about some of the other stuff that's been coming out from it because he's been really milking that breathtaking thing.
That's the problem,
pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like he's been going, like, I guess because he's part of the Xbox VIP thing or whatever, and there are people there who've been talking about like he's making sure people know he's the breathtaking
That's the
guy.
problem.
Yeah. So I'm cool with the whole cart situation. I do understand the angle where people are talking about the strong arming company when they did a nice gesture of, hey, I want to give you a game.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather give this. I saw it was a post on choosing beggars, which was kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's a mixed bag, but I was curious to see if you guys had heard about it, because it's been going around the internet a little bit, so. But yeah. Other than that, though, Keanue was a class act through and through. Mm-hmm. He handled that well.
Yep.
And then the last thing I'll talk about that one was, when you hear stuff like this happening, it's only going to encourage people to heckle and yell stuff at presenters and in hopes of free stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that. It's
Okay, that's actually a really cool perspective on that. That's a really good perspective.
it's something we're going to talk about kind of
even thought
moving
about
on,
that.
especially in the Bethesda press conference.
Exactly. Why don't I segue to Bethesda?
All right, so it's time to talk about E3 in kind of broad strokes.
Sure.
Sure.
All right, so let's dive in. Let's go chronological, as much as that's going to suck. It will catch up to Bethesda pretty quick, because EA is first. And they did not have a press conference. They had that EA Play thing. They said we're fixing Anthem. They showed off some stuff. The Star Wars game looks cool enough, I guess. They showed off, I think it was literally 4 games in 3 hours, and just kind of had people sitting there talking about stuff. It was basically nothing. It was kind of when they even bothered to stream it.
Oh yeah, but my notes I have written EA yawn.
Yep.
Okay, so
that's all I have for EA.
So the Star Wars game looked really good.
Does it? Because what have we actually seen of that Star Wars game?
Well, I think that's the first we've seen of it, but I like the idea of, like, okay, so I really enjoyed playing, like, Jedi Academy and Jedi Outcast.
Okay.
So this, in a way, reminds me a little bit more of it, but with some extra fun stuff involved. Obviously, the Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy had a lot more flexibility as far as the movement for the character goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of dug it a little bit. Like, I was cool with it. I enjoyed it, personally. So,
did we watch different trailers or something? Because, like, this reminded me more of Force Unleashed than either of the games you just mentioned. And that's not a good comparison.
Yeah, no, it's more like... well, yeah, I didn't play Force Unleashed, so I'm basing it off my perspective with Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. I guess what I'm going with is the angle of it's a single player based Jedi kind of adventure is what I'm going for, and that I appreciate.
I don't know. As someone who played both of the Force Unleashed games, there's a lot of people in this game that are capable of parrying or surviving lightsaber blows. Just saying.
That's fair.
Oh yeah. That is one thing that I did find interesting about that. I guess there is one thing that I found interesting about that one in particular is they actually did talk about how they tried to make the combat, in a certain sense, be a little bit more realistic to the technology. That is, you don't hit people with lightsabers multiple times. Because the thing is, they straight up said, like, a lightsaber ends the battle. You hit with it once, it slices them in half, it's over. So all the combos are built on, I'm not actually hitting somebody with a lightsaber, not just hitting somebody with a lightsaber repeatedly, which, yeah, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, when it's the finishing blow, when you actually hit somebody with their lightsaber, that actually makes a lot of sense.
I'm sorry, I'm watching...
That's kind of
I watched a trailer where someone got hit with a lightsaber multiple times and did not die. They had, like, burn marks on the outside of their armor.
That may mean that they're meant to, because the armor meant to take a little bit more damage. But yeah, I saw other parts that were specifically described as they wanted to make it feel more like a lightsaber is a super deadly weapon if you manage to hit with it. But there's a lot of characters that have various ways to deflect it, either weaponry or armor.
I remember spiders that survive multiple lightsaber hits from this trailer. Like, people seem excited about this game. I played both the Force Unleashed games, and there was cool moments, especially the mod that made lightsabers one-hit kills. But I don't know. People have called this, like, Jedi Dark Souls, but I think is a completely wrong name for it.
I've heard that too, actually.
I don't know. And this might be me being too cynical for my own good at this point. It could be cool. I'm not going to condemn this thing because it's just EA, but I remember the Force Unleashed 1 and 2 way too well to give this game trust before I can play it.
That's fair.
I don't know. I'm sure I come off as a cynical asshole in that category, but no. But
even with what I said, I'm still not interested in anything that EA presented.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, realistically, so you had Jedi Fallen Order, which is something new. You had a new character for Apex Legends.
Woo!
And then, yeah, like, she looks kind of cool.
Does she?
But, like, I saw some of her character aspects where she's very much, like, dropping electric, like, fence stuff and all that. Like, it's interesting, especially when you pair her up with some other characters like Caustic or whatever I believe his name was. But, yeah. So I kind of dig the character. I don't know if they're gonna do some more stuff with their season 2. They have their thing or whatever. I forgot what it's called, the season pass. But yeah, I thought she was kind of nifty looking.
Are you playing Apex Legends still? Will
No.
she bring you back?
Probably not.
Is she really that nifty?
She looks nifty to watch, but I don't think I'm gonna play the game because I have another shooter I'd prefer to play.
That's fair.
But, yeah, other than that, what did they talk about also? What, Battlefield 5? Same thing? Battlefield 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they ever release their Battle Royale yet?
It's called Firestorm.
I forgot
People
if they
seem to
did.
like it. Like, it's terrifying.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we had Battlefield 5, and then, of course, and no one saw this coming.
No one!
FIFA 20.
Yeah.
No one saw FIFA 20 coming.
Yeah. There again, it was a big yawn for me. I was super not interested in EA.
Can we just talk about the big fuck you in a way? Or at least I felt it was. That they had Anthem stuff in between 2 other games, like, as a segue.
I'm just amazed Anthem was even mentioned at all. Like,
It didn't even have its panel part. They had it mentioned they had it sandwiched in between for a few minutes. Talk about what they're doing for Anthem.
Yep.
And they said they're listening to player feedback and this and that. And apparently they only invited fucking influencers to their player feedback session behind closed doors.
Yeah, like okay, like to rewind to the pre-Battlefield 2 launch, and maybe this is just kind of how I remember things. They had a video that was like they were talking about the development for Battlefront 2, and they're like, yeah, we flew, like, they're like, someone, like, an influencer said, yeah, they flew us out, we had lots of thoughts about the game, and now it's great. It's one of these things where it's at face value, okay, cool. If you take any second to think about it, it's wait, they flew you to another country, let you play a game before a bunch of other people, and thought you would say anything but the game is fine. And this was back before the whole, like, you can pay influencers $1 million to play your games controversy bullshit happened in jazz.
Yeah.
That's EA's mode of operandum at that point. Like, it's just, okay, how do we guarantee that, like, what we're hearing is what we want, and or that the story out there is what we want that story to be? Would I love to see Anthem come back? Sure. But Destiny 2 Year 3 sure looks good. Doesn't have jetpacks, but I'll take it.
But definitely nothing daring with EA's presentation. And it was too like you touched upon this earlier. It was so long to show so little.
I don't know. I think mentioning Anthem at all was daring. Like, it shouldn't be, but like that's the daringest thing they did, I guess.
But also, they just didn't have a lot to announce. It was kind of small, especially when compared to some of the other presentations that were shorter and had more games. But anyways, I don't like EA as a company.
Yeah, no, they've done nothing but tell us that we probably shouldn't like EA as a company.
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, Microsoft.
Now, Microsoft had a ton of stuff, but it's because their umbrella is so big. The amount of studios they have is massive, super massive. So, yeah, they had a lot.
So this one actually has stuff to talk about. Do you want to talk about the overall press conference and then kind of talk about like the big reveals for that, or just kind of try and walk through this sequentially?
I don't have any thoughts on Microsoft. Like I said, there's too many studios for it to be cohesive.
Fair. It's like, for me, the Microsoft press conference was kind of this weird thing where you have Bill Spencer up there wearing a goddamn Psychonaut shirt, and that was distracting me to the point where I'm like, explain the Psychonaut shirt now.
Well, we know what the explanation is.
We do now, but that was like 2/3 of the way through the press conference. I'm really looking forward to Double Fine's Halo 5.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
Did either of you two notice the pre-order thing they kept popping up through the entire press conference?
No, probably not.
Okay,
it was so not
I got
memorable. It was not memorable.
Because that thing was driving me insane. Like, it was just like Xbox achievement update thing they'd pop up in the corner. It was like, you can pre-order this right now, and it bugged me because every time it popped up, it distracted me from like, god damn it. I'm like, you could do some cool shit with this. You could like pop in some information about the game, but no, it's pre-order now, motherfuckers.
It's like the old MTV commercials that had the little snippets that would pop up in
Kind
music
of,
video was
yeah.
playing. Yeah, well, so that was this year's, hey, in 4K.
Yeah.
In 4K. Xbox exclusive, 4K.
Yeah.
Well, they have a habit of making sure they hammer something down in every year, so.
Anyone got thoughts on Battletoads?
Why?
It looked kind
I
of
like
cool.
the art
It looks
style.
fine.
I don't care
I'm not gonna
about Battletoads. Yeah, like, I'm like, that's cool art style. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like, okay. I don't even
have
know
the
what to
note
think about that.
pig time.
It strikes me as a bit of hello, fellow teenagers.
A little bit, yeah, but I think it also
A little
like
bit.
I would watch a show in that art style. I'm not sure I'll play a video game in that art style, let alone a Battletoads video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not super interested in it.
Yeah.
One game that I am interested in is Leading Edge.
Really?
by Ninja Theory, because I like fighting games. I think I'm the only. I don't think either of you really like fighting games,
Oh, we most certainly do.
but I love fighting games, and this one looks fun. It's a 3D, every multiplayer fighting game.
It looks like
Multiplayer brawl.
Anarchy Reigns, which while I like Anarchy Reigns wasn't a good game.
But we'll have to see if the combat's actually good. I mean, if the play
Yeah.
control is good and it's visceral. I mean, that's going to make or break it, just like a lot of similar games. If it feels good to play, if it feels natural when you're trying to attack another player, if it feels sluggish and clunky, which it can easily do that if 3D brawling is super hit and miss. I mean, whereas something like Devil May Cry often feels kind of good because it's such fast action, but that's definitely not all of the games like that. But yeah,
I don't know
so
on this one.
I like the designs. I like the look of it. I think it has it looks, yeah, I like and there again, the art style brings me into a lot of games. Absolutely. If it has a really good art style, then that actually piques my interest a lot.
Okay,
and this one I like the art style for it.
Okay, so I actually that trailer just looked at so the trailer to me looked like it was just kind of like Borderlands presents For Honor, but yeah, they didn't show any gameplay, so I have no idea what the fuck that game is. It felt very kind of Battleborn, meme-y character design, but it could be cool. I don't know. I found it a little bit off-putting, I guess.
The other thing that stood out to me during Microsoft thing is this was during the Microsoft thing that the game that George R.R. Martin is working on, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It was during the Microsoft one. Yeah,
Ring of
and
Eden, Elden.
Yeah, Elden Ring.
Elden Ring.
And to me, it means that A Song of Ice and Fire will never be finished, and the TV ending is canon. Ha 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 ha. You're never gonna get that last book.
Again, that trailer did nothing for me. I'm like,
oh, it did nothing for me. I just find it hilarious because it means that we're never gonna get the last book.
It's more of a fuck you, R.R. Martin fans. Got it. I'm surprised you never reaction to 12 minutes.
I don't know. I don't know. It seems all right. I did look at that, and the whole time loop thing of replaying something.
Yeah.
I don't know. It has to be done really well, because anything messing around with time like that, if it's not done well, it's just dumb, like really dumb and predictable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, at least it's interesting, but it's not a long game. I mean, that's the one that'll be very, it's not exactly something that's going to be a big engrossing game. It's confined to one room basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the concept behind it is
if it's
kind
like
of interesting,
$30 at launch, I'll be totally down. I'm not sure it's a $60 game.
Oh, that's
for me.
way too much.
Yeah.
For the amount of gameplay I think that thing will actually have, I would not pay $30 for that. I'd maybe pay 20.
Yeah.
I'd pay 20 for it.
I heard some
30.
interviews with the developer for that, I guess. It sounds like there might be more there than the trailer showed off, but yeah, I'm with you. Like, that's not a full price game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Am I the only Gears of War fan on this podcast?
Probably. I was always kind of meh about it.
Yeah, I never really gave a crap about
That's
it
fair.
at all because I found the designs super dumb.
Oh, they are.
The color palette, the most boring color palette I've ever seen in a piece of media ever.
They have fixed the color palette, but yes, the original Gears Wars were beige and muddy, and yeah. I feel a little bit robbed there was no single-player reveal for it, but I appreciate them continuing the trend of Gears of War trailers must be set to melancholy music or die trying. The only way you can show off a Gears of War game is slow and plodding covers of other songs or kind of just downer shit.
Yep, it has to be dramatic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. After the last game where you go into a mech at one point and then play Gears of War, but scaled up to like 20 feet tall, so using the buildings for the cover system, I'm really excited to see where the fuck Gears 5 goes. I'm like that last game. Like, this is before you even joined the podcast, Henry, was ridiculous in a way I respected. Like, just the fact that like the main character from the original games just was in the game as like an angry, pissed off old man filled my heart with so much joy for that game. So I'm weirdly excited for Gears 5. At the same time, I'm weirdly excited for that Gears Funko Pop game because it looks terrible. And a shit ton like Clash Royale.
Yeah.
How about that Forza news they had, though?
Can I just get the Lego game? Like, can I get the Lego half of that game and not get the other half of that game? Because the Lego part looks cool. I don't really care about the real cars. But also, like, there's an interview out there where they're talking about how, like, all the customization from the base game is in that game, but Lego-fied. So, like, it will only work if it's Lego compatible, where it's like you have to, like, your decals will, like, have to snap on and stuff, which I find dumb but endearing. They showed off that new Xbox Elite 2, which is really cool, but I'm kind of curious if they're going to fix my big issue with that thing. Have I ever talked about the weird? Have I ever talked about the weird design flaw I have for that thing?
For the Xbox Elite thing? Oh, the controller. No, what is it?
So I have two. The flippers on the bottom aren't programmable, at least not in my experience. They correspond to specific face buttons. That's kind of a whatever. It's probably a thing you can change on that if you want. The bigger issue is that the whole trigger locks. You can slide up where the kind of the trigger pull ends, and for some games that fucks with the ability to use the controller. Actually, like so, Destiny, you can't use those because it's far forward enough. You can't shoot hand cannons or make the Sparrow go full speed.
Oh,
it's a weird thing. Like I heard at some point there was a VR game that you could cheat at it with the controller where you use less stamina. It was a rock climbing game or something. You could cheat at the game because you only the more you pulled down the triggers, the more stamina you use. Kind of betting on the fact that people would like kind of grip hard because they're doing a rock wall climbing thing. If you had that in place, the game became super easy because you were using like only 25% of the stamina most people used in the game. Like it's not just Destiny. Like, I've had other games that I've forgotten I had the trigger locks on, and it was a problem. And the fact they're making it even shorter, hypothetically, has me going, that seems like it could be problematic if you're not addressing the weird dead zone issue. Yeah. I don't think I'll be buying it unless I get a chance to try and figure out if that thing's not a problem anymore. I also fucking love my Elite, so it's a great controller. Um, what next?
Devolver Digital was after that, weren't they?
Yeah, we're not done with we're not done with Microsoft yet, though.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Phantasy Star Online 2 coming to the U.S. finally. Way too goddamn late, but
7 years later.
yeah.
7 years.
Yeah.
It got to the point where, like, I wasn't even sure that it was still going, and I'm a Sega fan.
Oh no, they just released a really creepy microtransaction for it.
Great.
Did they? What is it?
So, this character customization in that game, they have like giant breasts you can strap onto your character, but the item for it is like a weird sci-fi like plastic box of boobs. It's just like a rack for your front of your character in a vacuum sealed bag. It's like, that's uncomfortable to think about.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep. Looking forward to that game coming to the US. We get to experience that type of weird shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I'm probably not going to play it.
No.
To be perfectly honest, I'm probably not going to play it.
Yeah.
I liked the first one a lot.
Oh, I'm gonna.
I've never had the chance to play the second one for obvious reasons, and yeah, I don't think I'll play it now.
I don't think I'll play a lot of it, but I'm gonna play that game. I've been waiting 7 goddamn years. Kind of towards the end of the press conference, they talked about the Project X Cloud and the Next Box, which is what I'm calling it now.
Mm-hmm.
If they keep the name Project X Cloud for the final product, that is the coolest dumb name for a video game thing ever. If they change it, I'm never not calling it Project X Cloud, because I love how dumb that is. That is some cyberpunk bullshit naming convention.
That's some 90s era naming.
Yeah, it is. They didn't go into great detail for this, which I found a little disappointing, but the fact that you can now use your Xbox as kind of a streaming server seems kind of cool, hypothetically.
Yeah.
We got a big flashy video of the next box. You said the phrase game stacks at some point, which I don't know what the fuck that is. I was hoping you could explain that concept to me, Henry.
So what in particular?
They said the phrase game stack at one point. And like as a technological feature in that like weird, we're talking about the next box.
Game stack?
It might be.
I'd have to see the
I don't remember.
Context.
I took some notes on it.
I'm not familiar with that term.
Fair.
That's not a technical term.
Fair. Yeah, but apparently the future is all about load times and 8K at 120 frames a second, which just leads me to the question, can the human eye perceive 120 frames a second?
No. We actually top out at like going a little above 30.
Okay.
We start to really lose it. At 60, it's pretty much seamless. Like, as far as what we can actually detect, by the time you reach 60 frames a second, it's pretty much seamless. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, yeah.
In that same vein,
that's the thing. When you go a little bit, and that's the thing. It's like that's around the point where the 30 frames per second is around the point where when it's that fast, it's actually really easy to slip in subliminal stuff. So I mean, that's why it's kind of on the edge of that around the 30 mark. But by the time you reach the 60 mark, I don't think anybody can actually notice it. I don't think that the eye can actually notice it.
Interesting.
And at 120, it's like, yeah, it's just overkill.
But the next box will do 8K 120 frames a second, whether or not it needs to or not. It'll also be able to use SSD as virtual RAM. Do either of you know what the fuck that means?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing that you have on your computer right now, in that if your computer overruns the RAM, your actual like RAM chips in there, your 16 gigs of RAM or whatever, it starts using the hard drive.
Okay, I did not know that actually.
Yeah, and that's why you get something called swapping. And so back in the day, and like these days, you aren't going to run into it as much because RAM is so ridiculously cheap compared to what it was. But back in the day, it could happen quite often that you would overrun your RAM, and then everything seems to slow down a lot. That's because now it's using the much, much slower hard drive to act literally as RAM. So, yeah, so that's what's happening there. And so but it's going to be a lot faster if they're running from an SD chip, because if you have a fast enough SD card, those things are closing in on the speed that your RAM would be at anyway. So
yeah,
it's hardware swapping, but faster, because I mean, even like, it's flash drive, so it's going to be way faster. But even with that, it's going to be way, way slower than RAM. But yeah, that's the thing that's been happening in operating systems forever.
Huh. I had no idea. That's my notes. We also got kind of a look at Halo. Sorry, before we move on, the next box will be out for holiday 2020, so look forward to that next year. They wrapped up the press conference with that Halo Infinite trailer that I spent half of hoping it was just a Dead Space trailer. It had that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Though, honestly, I don't want them to reopen the Dead Space franchise. It has a satisfying conclusion. Leave it alone.
I'd say the first 2 games are great games. The third one is a complicated mess.
Yeah, I mean, but still, it's done. The story's done.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. Wouldn't object to a remake of the first one, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
I like that game a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have one weird question, though. Was Master Chief always that lime green?
Yeah.
It's more like a military green.
I mean, depends on the lighting.
Yes.
It was more, it's been, I don't know. If you look at the first Halo, he's pretty lime.
Yeah.
Lime-ish.
And I think
This is very true. He's pretty fucking lime in that cover.
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always been a little bit brighter than like this dark green military. And I think that was kind of on purpose so that it wouldn't just blend in with the grassy backdrops that you have in the first,
maybe,
in the games in general. So, yeah, I mean, it was always, and especially, I don't know, but I'm not sure if it's quite as lime green as what we saw in the trailer.
Yeah, it's one of those ones I'm just watching going like, this is the wrong color for Chief, but I'm also the wrong person to have opinions about Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, this is also the press conference that brought us Cyberpunk information and Keanu riding in on a cloud of smoke and stuff, and You're Beautiful, like, sort of breathtaking, whatever. It definitely kind of overshadowed the rest of the show, I think. I've heard some cynical people out there saying, like, bring in a celebrity to distract from our shitty labor practices, which I had not heard before, but yeah. It was a cool moment that felt genuine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda. Exactly.
Wow, I have one note here for Bethesda, but please go on.
I thought it was a pretty bad press conference. I think Alex kind of summed up all the jokes about it real quick just now with there was like 2 or 3 people that just would not shut the fuck up. Like, anyone said anything, woo! Like, I could imagine Alex doing that guy's job, but like sarcastically and ironically. This felt like some paid actor trying to feel genuine. Like, this was the type of shit we all would be like jerks by doing. Like, we'd go and be like, Fallout 76, woo! You're adding NPCs! Like, fuck everything about that press conference. It felt so disingenuous, like, down to the "we hear you" video they fucking put up.
Yeah, we talked about the cynical thing. Oh man, that press conference felt cynical. There was one thing announced though that I thought looked pretty cool. Deathloop.
That looked cool. There was no gameplay for that though. Like the Tokyo Ghost thing or whatever it was called, the Ghostwire. That also could be cool, hypothetically, but...
Now that I'm super interested in. And you remember last week I talked about they spotted Shinji Mikami around.
Yeah.
Obviously this is why. But also they brought out an amazing person to announce it, who has also been sort of memed.
Kumi Nakamura? I think I'm pronouncing her name right.
Yes.
That was the most... In a press conference, I wanted to like see the stage fall on itself for most of it. Her brief time on stage, that and Doom Eternal were true rays of sunshine.
Yeah, she
Absolutely.
like Keanu Reeves, she is also very genuine on stage and just natural and genuine.
It was cool to see someone excited to be presenting at E3, as opposed to everyone else who's like, we're here again.
Yeah, she actually seemed to be genuinely excited. Same thing with Keanu. It's like they were, it's nice to see some people who weren't just like, here is game, they say in the most fake excitement voice they can muster. Ridge Racer.
Yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
hi guys, my name is Todd Howard.
Do you want to talk about that for a second? Because I have a great joke note here.
Okay.
It was real cool. It was real cool to see them announce that the Fallout 76 beta is over and they're finally releasing the full version of that game with NPCs and what you actually play Fallout games for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck everything about that part of the press conference. Like, we've heard you and we've put NPCs in the game. It's like, why weren't they there previously? Like, what the fuck? You released a Fallout game without quests.
Yeah.
This feels like some fucking Apple level condensate. Like, was it I can't remember the word. This feels like some Apple level disdain for their customers.
Yeah.
Like, we're adding NPCs. It's like we're adding the $999 stand for your monitor.
I think the better comparison is Apple recently added Swipe to the iPhone interface. And there's a great meme out there where it's like, Apple would like to reveal to the world of cell phones swipe input for texting. Android phones look at their phones. We've had this for years. Apple responds, this is new and innovative, and shut the fuck up, Samsung owners.
So brave.
Yeah.
So brave. Yeah. Also, it's funny that this week they're releasing NPCs because they're also fulfilling another promise this week. The canvas bags finally went out.
I was going to bring that up. Like, I'm just so... I am so sick of talking about those bags. Like, there's so many bigger issues with Fallout 76, but all anyone ever fucking talks about is the fucking bags. Like, oh, the game's on fire, but man, these bags are upsetting. I'm like, can we be upset that people paid money for this? Like, they are fucking boxing it with controllers as like, you buy a controller, here's a copy of fucking Fallout 76.
Yep.
Shit, I saw a picture today of someone that was in like the Xbox section of a Best Buy, and it was like $400 for an Xbox One, $300 for an Xbox One with Fallout 4 or Fallout 76 packed into it. I'm like, whoa, holy shit.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real, but I think it probably is.
Yep.
I found the whole Doom Eternal part of the press conference fantastically charming, from demon strategy to we'll see you in hell. Like, they get what that game is about. Apparently it's real good.
Well, they have a great team working on the Doom, on their Doom series, so and yeah, it's the best FPS out there.
Yeah.
It just hands down. Every part of it was carefully designed to make it more fun.
Except
to
the
literally
multiplayer.
Just to make it. Yeah, and but yeah, that's really, this game is really for it's. The multiplayer isn't the part that I'm focusing on. I
thought it was brave that they had a multiplayer in the second game, given how shitty it was in the first one. Like, you could just straight drop the multiplayer and no one would have cared. They'd been like, what? So it's more Doom but less multiplayer? Yeah.
Sure.
That's a bold move there. I like what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you boys in hell.
Also, can we just also talk about the fact that that same guy, the Wooer, shouted about a free-to-play fucking mobile game with the same enthusiasm as the rest of the shit for that.
You're talking about Blades? Because I want to talk about Blades.
Okay.
No, Commander Keen.
Oh, fuck that. It's...
What?
So they've announced a new Commander Keen as part of this as a mobile game, and like, it is the most Godfather, what have they done to my sweet boy meme moment ever. Like, I have a friend growing up named Jake who was like a huge Commander Keen fan back on the that was a Commodore game, right?
I was on multiple systems. It was on a lot. MS-DOS was
one of the first games I ever played was Commander Keen at his house. I remember which one it was. Don't at me about this one. It's been a long time. I sent him like the video for that and got the response back of, what the hell? Like, where's the pogo stick? I'm like, I don't think there is one.
Mm.
Yeah, even the art style disappoints for that game. But in the same like free to play thing, they're bringing Blades to the Nintendo Switch with cross save, and it's going to be free on the Nintendo Switch, which means it's pretty much a guarantee the real shitty microtransactions are going to be in the Switch version.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've heard nothing but bad things about that thing, ultimately. Like, it plays fine, but, like, the cooldowns and the microtransaction aspects of it are just shitty. Alex, please woo. Oh. I guess, like, unless someone's going to talk about the Bethesda thing, I know we're all chomping at the bit to talk about Devolver. I thought it was real ballsy of Bethesda to get out there and announce the Doom Eternal Collector's Edition, complete with cool-ass Doom Guy helmet. So close to Fallout 76's Collector's Edition. Like, maybe you stop doing Collector's Editions for a little while after you have that bag fiasco.
Yeah. Don't remind people of the bad thing.
Don't make me talk about Doom Eternal and Fallout 76 in the same concept either. Like,
the
fact they're like rolling out support for Rage 2, I think, is a sad, bad choice. That game is not worth supporting. It's gonna be a year of Rage, boys. Yeah.
Anyways,
next up, the winner of the press conferences, as in like actual press conferences, Devolver Digital's press conference or unconference they call it now. I don't know.
It was just if you haven't watched it, and it's short and sweet. It's only like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's a half hour.
Watch it. It's awesome, and
it's got everything you'd want from an E3 press conference. It's got murder. It's got blood. It's got an adorable kind of chibi battle royale game. It's got a sequel to My Friend Pablo. It's that Carrion game looks real cool and smooth as shit for a pixel art game.
Oh man, Carrion! There again, it takes a lot for me to go all in on a pixel art game. To actually Carrion, I love the concept of it, and it looks super fun. The concept is great. I've never even seen this done in a movie, really, or anything in any other medium. The reverse horror movie concept. And depending on the mechanics, which the mechanics already look kind of cool, man, I'm super interested in that.
Yep.
So that's amazing. As far as the Devolver bootleg, that's just kind of funny.
I had one takeaway from that gag, which was, isn't that already just a key site? Like, don't key resellers already exist?
But it's a real game.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually get it on Steam. Set of games, I should say. It's all in
It's a collection.
But my biggest holy shit of Devolver Digital was Enter the Gungeon House of the Gundead as an arcade cab that they are actually selling. That's amazing. I will totally play that.
I kind of want one.
If any of my local arcades get it in, I will play that game, definitely, because it looks fun.
Yeah.
It looks fun. And you know what? Arcade cabs, especially in America, are kind of a dying breed.
Yep.
But that's Devolver Digital. They're going to do the thing you don't expect. Their conference was the only one that I was really looking forward to because they always kill it.
Literally,
They're
they
just,
murdered people in the press conference.
Yes. So, yeah, honestly, yeah, every year I'm always anxious to see what they're going to do because, oh man, as a company, they seem to be the type of odd and crazy that I adore.
I always love that, like, the only negative I have from that press conference was it wasn't RoboCop, goddammit, in my notes. Like, that's the one thing I found disappointing because they set up to be RoboCop last year. They now set it up to be Terminator next year, so fuck it. The Devolver Digital narrative continues.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. They actually are continuing a narrative in their press conference.
I'm invested at this point. That's the sad part. I want to know where this goes. Like,
it's just
the obvious logical end is they make a video game that's a tie-in to their press conference. Like, that's where we're going, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely the highlight. I mean, it was short and sweet, but there was a lot of content there. It was super entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like an interesting bunch.
I'm super glad they're making My Friend Pablo too, because My Friend Pablo is a great game. I can't play it, but I love watching videos of it. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Honestly, looking forward to.
Was this anyone's first Devolver Digital press conference?
No.
No, because I watched a few of them past. So, also because we did the E3 shows in the past, and we talked about the looniness.
I couldn't
of that
remember if you've watched them before or not, Alex. Yeah, because the texting you were doing was like, "Man, Devolver," and I'm like, "Yeah, Devolver."
Yeah,
kill that man on stage. Ubisoft.
Oh, before that, there was the pre-show, which was a thing. I don't think either of you caught it.
No.
But it was started immediately after Devolver Digital, which actually made a great segue. If you've ever seen the pre-show before, it was on. They did it last year too, and the year before. They've done it the last couple of years. It's a very Eric Andre talk show. It's basically like Eric Andre style absurdist talk show, and just weird stuff. They have some random guests on. They had one guest on from Sega actually that played and talked about the new re-release of Catherine with new, because it's going to have new content, as well as, let's see, they also talked about another, what else did they talk about Sega-wise? I can't, I don't have it written here, unfortunately, but yeah, that's, it also, Kaiju Big Battle was involved in the pre-show.
Okay.
Which is also amazing. If all right, listeners, if you aren't familiar with what Kaiju Big Battle is,
why are you listening to this podcast?
Yeah, it is mad pro wrestling, except it's everybody's dressed up as kaiju, and there's even like kind of a small city set up in the wrestling ring. So it looks like two monsters fighting it out over a cheaply made city.
It's the best version of amateur wrestling, really.
Oh, it's fantastic. It is absolutely, it's a ton of fun, and they had one of their characters actually playing a couple of games during the pre-show.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for me, that's a fun time. I really enjoy absurdist comedy, and this was absurdist comedy. Fantastic. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the pre-show, and it's worth watching. At least, parts of it, maybe not the whole 8 hours of it, but yeah, it went on that long. It went on way into the morning. So, anyways, but on to the next day.
All right, Ubisoft. Sorry, what?
Before we take off, I totally forgot to mention this because it just, I have to bring it up. This is the last Fallout 76 thing I'll bring up.
Okay.
They added a battle royale.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Because that's what that game needed.
Yep.
A battle royale.
When I think of Fallout, I think of tight shooting controls. Definitely haven't gone on long rants in the past, but how much their shooting controls suck or how bad combat is in that game.
Yep.
Yeah. Good job, Train Fire, or was it
Dumpster
Trash Fire? You managed Dumpster Fire. You managed to do it again. They just added more kerosene or whatever they call it to the blaze.
I love how it's also like one of the smallest population battle royales to date.
Yeah.
52 players.
If they try to do a full size, yeah. Well, if they try to do 100, they won't be able to get a matchmaking done.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Commentary.
It is no Tetris.
But what really is?
That's still my favorite of this style of game is the Tetris 99.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I just had to bring it up real quick because I told you we skimmed it. I saw it here written. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
bringing
right.
it up. It's like, oh, that's a thing. That's a choice you could make, Bethesda. Okay. Ubisoft.
Yep. So
yeah.
So
it's not so much a reveal as I want to talk about it for a second. Do either of you have any fondness for any part of the Assassin's Creed music aside from like the sea shanties from 4?
It was good enough music.
Yeah,
I mean, it seemed to fit. It was well done.
I guess like the 5-minute like musical intro was neat, but also it was me sitting there being like, okay, play something I actually care about now.
But I'm a big fan of Assassin's Creed series, as I've mentioned many times before. But they announced a story creator for it.
Yeah,
and
for Odyssey,
but it's the internet. It's the internet, so it's going to be awful. We're going to see the worst levels that have ever existed. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
it is. It's because it's the internet and it's humans on the internet, and it's going to be awful.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only imagine the types of things that are going to be posted using Story Creator. Yeah, but I just found that amusing.
Probably the biggest part of the show was Watchdog Legion.
Yes, and I am hyped.
Really?
About that. Yes, I am super hyped about it. Did you ever play any of the other Watch Dogs games?
Yeah, I don't like them.
I love them. I think they're fantastic.
Oh,
I think they're super good.
I think the concept is good, but I think there were some execution problems, I believe.
I don't know. I really liked both of those games, and I'm hyped for this one because of the mechanics. There's freaking permadeath in an MMO. Like when if you
not
have
an
a
MMO.
team of people. I mean, it's no, it is.
No, it's not.
It's a multiplayer game.
Not an MMO. It's multiplayer, maybe in the way the previous ones where like you invaded. It's not.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, it's not an MMO technically.
It's
but it's permadeath, and you have a team of people in permadeath. That's an amazing concept.
Yeah,
that's super cool. I am really hyped about that. I love the characters, just the character interaction that they showed. I mean, that was super cool as well. It's like showing that these are teams of people, and this is really what Watch Dogs is about. Is not about the person alone, but that you're not alone. But I think it is really cool that you can get invested in a character and have that character super die and be super dead. You get to play a team of people. That's just cool. This isn't something that has been done before, and I am all in on this.
I don't know. I guess like some of the interviews I also saw about this game, like it's not a team of people. Like they never interact with each other. Like you're doing missions as individual characters still. It's very much like you're swapping around some, but it's kind of swapping around in a worse way that Grand Theft Auto 5 did.
Well, but it does. No, well, I mean, it looks like from what they're trying to portray is that you swap around within a mission for different parts of that mission.
Do actually? I don't know. I have not played the game, so I can't comment based on what I heard about the game.
That's the way they portrayed it in the trailer, essentially.
Don't know.
And that's exactly how it happens. That it was multiple people all involved in literally the same mission.
We will have to see.
Which ended up with recruiting a new character into your team.
I think that's because you failed initially. I think that's like that. That's the failure recover state.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but the initial mission was to save this guy. Was to help him out, and I think it sounds like I'm all in on it because I like the Watch Dogs series. I like the franchise, and
Sure.
I think that I like the idea of basically using micro hacking of a sort to just help you out with things going on, and in a lot of subtle ways. That's a part of what I like about it. And it looks like they're really putting in some real variance on what characters are capable of doing, like what their specialties are going to be, and what they should be, and what types of missions they should be assigned to. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to that. For me, probably of all the games, that may be one of the ones that I'm the most excited about.
That surprises me because we came away from this trailer very differently. Like I watched this thing going like, man, this just looks unbelievably lame. Like it's more of Watch Dogs, which like the setting of this Watch Dog fixes my biggest issue with Watch Dogs 2, which is you murder a shit ton of people in that game.
Yeah.
Like you are straight up a terrorist in the second one. Whether the game wants to address that fact or not. Like in the first one too, to a certain extent, you kind of are as well. I get like it's but you're being the good guys, but I killed a lot of people that were just cogs in the machine in that game, and I don't think that's right, and the game never chose to address that, and that's a problem with me. And like at least they kind of justify why you might have guns in this one, but if I'm flying drones with C4 into another set of missions and claiming I'm the good guy, I'm going to have just the same problems I had with the last game with this one. And it sure doesn't feel like they fixed that aspect of it.
Well, I don't see, the way I felt about it is, you aren't a good guy. That was never the point of any of the games, was to say that you're the hero and then there's a villain. It's all more gray, and I think it's very purposely more gray than just, I'm a hero.
I don't think it's
punch villain
gray
in the
at
face.
all. That's the problem. Like, you are, in the first one, you are straight a vigilante who's kind of doing the good thing, but also you murder a lot of people that
and
really
it never
don't
tries to
deserve
act, but it really doesn't act like that's particularly good. You don't get, you get game progression, but it's not like you get cheered on for it. It's not like they present what you're doing.
You get fucking followers in the second one for like committing terrorist acts. Like,
yeah, and that's kind of realistic.
But like, it's, I don't know. I think the way they handled it in 2 just didn't feel like. I get what you're saying. Like, it's like, oh, do the thing, and kind of the fringe groups lock onto you and stuff. But like, the 2 bugged me, I guess. Like, for as much as 2 was like,
I never played the game, and I never felt particularly heroic during the game. It felt like you were an insurgent that was engaging in questionable means against against some pretty dark
we viewed 2 differently
to say
then.
just evil, but yeah,
because that one really feels like, quote, you're the good guys. Like, it's your plucky gang of teens and shit. Like, the moment we start 3D printing guns to go, like, it's weird because you're propped up against organizations that are like just as bad as you are, but I, as the main protagonist in the second one, sure sniped a lot of security guards that their only crime was, I'm going to go to work today.
You do realize you don't have to kill everybody. There's other ways. A lot of the Watch Dogs mechanics are literally how to avoid running into anybody.
Not many of them, though, and like there's no negative penalty to killing people.
But no, it's really easy to use your technology, your control of technology, to avoid a lot of those.
No, like there's whole mission, like the sneaking segment, and the sneaking segments in that game get way easier if you just start killing people.
Yeah, but I mean, but that's not the only way to do it.
It's not, but like that game sure seems to emphasize that it is. Like, they give you a stun gun, like there's no reward for not killing people. There's no incentive not to kill people, except the game is harder for arbitrary reasons.
Well, but that seems like an incentive not to kill people.
The game is
right there.
It perpetually pushes you towards murder.
I didn't find that, actually. I found that a lot more engaging, a lot more interesting to try to, distract somebody using their own cell phone, and the various other things you could do in the game. For me, it was precisely the fact that you could just rely mostly on your technology.
You
and
can, but also
mostly
like
never.
you're at one point flying bomb drones. Like,
Yeah, terrorism is problematic.
it. Yeah, I guess it's one of those things where I think we talked about a lot when we talked about Watch Dogs 2 was the idea that like you're right, you can go about different ways of doing things, but just skull capping people in that game is the most effective approach.
Yeah, and that's the way it is in almost most games that are any sort
No,
of
and I
anything.
think that's a problem for that game. Like, if they have all these intricate systems that you never need to emphasize. If you're good at like Splinter Cell, you can just kind of sidestep what makes that game that game.
Well, I mean, I suppose so. I mean, you could also play Super Mario Brothers without ever getting a power up.
And some people do that, but
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like, yeah, there's choices.
but there's not choices. It's all on the player. Like, there's no incentive not to do. And this might be kind of we have to agree to disagree on this one. I find the tone of 2 at odds with itself, and I'm a little concerned 3 will be the same way. But like, also, I don't have any plans to play 3 at this point. They've managed to successfully make 2 of the games that I just didn't enjoy. Like, Aiden Pierce is a goddamn monster, and the second character, whose name I don't remember, is I'm gonna save the world hipster douchebag kid who just straight murders people. Yeah, I don't know at this point. The setting's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Gun-toting Brexit.
Yep.
Also, the I'm not going to talk about the grandma NPC control where you can run around being as a hacker grandma.
So as cool as that is to me, like, that's the issue with Watch Dogs. It's always been like a memeable game where it's like, oh, look how fun we are. I'm like, that's neat. You can be a grandma who shot that person in the face. Okay, how many times do I do that before it's not funny anymore? And it's not an infinite number for me. It's like, okay, yeah, it's fucking grandma shooting people. Okay.
But yeah, I found that, I don't know, I found that refreshing because, if only because you rarely see anybody older portrayed in these games, period. It's like people over 60 don't exist.
Yeah. I guess, like, going back to the tone thing, like, they played up grandma just shot a dude for laughs. And
Well, she didn't shoot people.
Yeah, she did.
She tased people.
No, she shot someone.
But I don't know. I felt like it made it feel like, yeah, the point of the game is supposed to be all sorts of people are involved in this. That's the point. Young and old.
Sure. So Alex, like, me and kind of Henry have outlaid our thing. Like, what was your takeaway from the grandmother segment?
I mean, it's funny, but the charm of it kind of dies after a while. Like, at that point, your grandma, you're gonna be naturally inclined to be like, let's see how much crazy damage shit can I do that a grandma would normally do. Like, haha, it's kind of my take.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
I think the idea is cool. Don't get me wrong. I like the fact that you can take over any NPC and all that stuff. I think that part's really cool, but it is very much kind of a niche feature. I think that at some point will lose its charm, if you will.
Well, I mean, you have an entire team of people. I mean, the point is, but the thing is, all of them are vulnerable because this game actually has permadeath, which, you talk about repercussions. Really cool. There's a repercussion right there. If you just go in guns blazing, you're probably going to lose all of your team. And that's literally what happened. They ended up in a part where guns were blazing, and even their kind of combat dude super died. So, yeah. So, I mean, there's consequences here. That's a consequence right there.
This one may finally
permadeath.
address my issue with consequences with that franchise. Like, I don't know. Or it might make it worse.
It's like they did a lot better while being less lethal than they did going guns blazing. And I think is just like, yeah, you go in guns blazing, then you could lose your character forever.
Mm.
But it's also a replenishable character, like you're perpetually recruiting, hypothetically.
Yeah, but not the same characters. And maybe not with the same abilities either. That's
okay,
the thing.
so
you lose somebody with...
Maybe you missed this. There's like skill... Like, there are classes of characters that people fall into, so you will have repeatable character traits, hypothetically.
Yeah, you'll be able to find something similar again, but yeah, I mean...
No, I mean,
know,
like, if once they fall into a certain category, that's their skill tree. Like, the abilities are the same from character to character, hypothetically.
Yeah. From the same type of character, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's character classes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, but if you get it, I mean, that's the thing, it's like, you get attached to one, it's like, you're going to want to actually be a little safer with them if you want them to stick around. Like, let's say you just have one that's a particularly good hacker. It's like, you don't want to be sending them into your firefights.
Sure, I guess, like, it's the... And maybe I missed it, and maybe this will be in the actual game. Like, I don't know if they showed off, like, that there will be an especially good hacker character or something. My fear, I guess, and this is kind of just based off, they didn't show that much, is that the characters will be generic enough that you won't mind when someone dies unless you get attached to them emotionally. Or
I don't know. It may seem to make a real point to make them all really varied and different, like where they didn't seem generic. I mean, the fact is, the main character, the character they're actually trying to save, trying to save him specifically because he has a particular trait. He can control drones. He's a drones person.
Right,
so
but what I'm getting at is, like, how many other people in world have that drone specialization? Like, is the guy they were trying to save just the first NPC they came across that had that drone specialization?
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of questions here.
So I think that's where we kind of that's our different takeaways. That's how I watched that trailer, where it's like, okay, you're just looking for a drone person.
Yeah. Which means that characters, I mean, yeah, and if you only have one on your team and you lose that one, it's like you've just lost a big thing. So I mean, there again, permadeath. I mean, how many games can you think of that have permadeath?
Well, define
other than
permadeath.
roguelikes.
Like, yeah, most roguelikes
Other
do.
than roguelikes.
A bunch of games have Iron Man modes at this point.
I wouldn't say a bunch. I'd say this is still super rare. I mean, I can hardly think of any games at all with any sense of permadeath. Other than a straight-up roguelike.
Fallout 76 has the Iron Man mode. Like, it was there at launch. Like, it's something you could swap into if you wanted to. Like, fucking Rust. A bunch of those survival games, actually, from was it 2 years ago at permadeath?
Yeah, the survival games. But I mean, in a game like this, I haven't seen it. You know, it's like, yeah, I think that's going to be super unique, and I like the idea. It's going to make you actually value the people instead of just rushing in and just blindly rushing in because you know that if you mess up, you'll just reset.
I don't know. I think we'll have to see on this one, because I think if they give them the kind of connectivity and emotional weight that you're interpreting the trailer as having, I think you're right. We'll see some interesting... There'll at least be some potentially interesting streaming stuff come out of it. My fear based off of that and kind of what they showed and what they've talked about since is the game's a little bit kind of using what Alex was talking about. Like, it's got more humor than weight, I guess. And that's been my experience with the previous games too. But I don't know. Yeah, we shall see. It could be the coolest Clockwork thing ever. As someone who loves Clockwork stuff, a la like Hitman and shit like that, if they actually pull off what they're talking about, that could be fucking awesome to see in motion. But yeah. My fear, especially with Ubisoft and specifically Watch Dogs, is the fact that they showed off kind of something very impressive for the first Watch Dogs, and it was a full-blown trailer, and like the ultimate realization of it wasn't what people thought it was, or the takeaway even, really. But that's probably even too cynical for this conversation. Mythic Quest?
Oh yeah, from the It's Always Sunny people. Which
person? Like, is it all of them?
People. No, it's like 3 of them.
No.
That's kind of nifty.
This felt like it was something up your alley of all of us, Alex. What was your takeaway on this one?
Well, I actually don't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Really?
I don't know, but
see, I do.
Yeah, I don't.
I do.
I haven't. Go ahead, Henry. You know, you would probably have more to say on this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one sitting here that's been a video game developer, which this is obviously going to be pretty developer centric. I don't know. It's like hopefully it's all right. So I'm a fan of It's Always Sunny, and just kind of trusting them of sort uh, to not make something that's more like a freaking Big Bang Theory, which I despise. Um, that they make something that's just not that where every joke isn't just "ha ha, you're a nerd" or "ha ha, you're a geek," which is what Big Bang Theory is. Painfully, it's just every single joke is just "ha ha, look at how nerdy they are." I want to see what the Always Sunny people will do with this because I feel like they've never relied on the laziest of jokes, other than maybe gross out type of stuff. But their humor is always meta and kind of funny and layered and
Sure.
ridiculous and absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, I mean just extreme and ridiculous. And yeah, I want to see them bring something interesting maybe to something about the video game industry. But you know what? I already have my perfect show about the video game industry, and it is the anime called New Game, which I still have to say is the one of the best representations of being in the industry I've seen, even though it very kind of cutesifies it
Sure.
in a certain sense and it softens it, but actually it's super realistic. A lot of the things that happen in New Game, it's just like, yeah, that's kind of what a development studio is like. Like seriously.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I whenever Ubisoft first announced that they were going to do TV shows in the first place, I was like, okay, but yeah, this definitely an interesting one. They've brought in interesting people to try to pull it off too. So, what's your take?
I'm not a huge fan of the fact it's only going to be on Apple TV.
Yeah, yeah, that's the downside. But
Yeah, I don't know. It's so I'm not sure if it's the same crew or not, but I also watched the show AP Bio, which had the guy that played Dennis from It's Always Sunny as the main kind of character on it, and it I don't know. It felt like it never quite did like the Sunny thing, I guess, and
mm-hmm.
this also I can't tell how much Ubisoft is involved in this one, and that makes me like the more they're involved, the more I think it's not going to be great. And I don't know. Like it's the cast could be good. Announcing it as part of E3 felt weird as fuck. Maybe that's why I'm a tad more critical on it for that part. Like it felt incredibly out of place. But in all honesty, like most of the rest of the Ubisoft press conference, like kind of felt out of place to me. So yeah, I don't know. Like this felt like a very weird place to unveil this. Like but now we're also talking about it, so maybe that's the case. But like I've watched lots of stuff that's in theory about video games. Like, I'm watching this show called Dad of Light that's like beautiful and touching and wonderfully done and ridiculously weird. It's a Japanese show about a dad and a son that reconnect by playing Final Fantasy 15. And like the son never tells the dad he's a character he hangs out with online for a bunch of time and shit like that. It's a cool show, but like it's got heart. And I've watched shows like The Guild, which was not Big Bang Theory, but also kind of definitely channeled in some of those things. I've also watched shows like I can't remember what it was called, but it was a show that was basically about like one of the one of the not so important branches of Wayne Tech in the DC universe. And it kind of had the same vibe this trailer did, where it's like, oh, it's run by Bruce Wayne's like cousin or something, Dennis Wayne, and Dennis Wayne is kind of a jerk, but also like they're part of the Wayne Tech empire, so it's like it's an important job to have, and we're gonna follow the lady who's head of HR for this weird ass company. They made it one season because the show was bad, but had a similar-ish vibe to it, I guess. I don't know. I got a bad name, but Mythic Quest is also a fine name for a show like this.
Yeah.
My biggest concern is that like the stories of the video game industry are fascinating and ridiculous enough as they are. I want them to be the actual stories of the video game industry. I don't want them to be what people think the stories of the video game industry are.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, one of my many, many, many complaints about Big Bang Theory. It's not how people are or act, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Always Sunny style of humor and just their writing, I'm interested to see what they'll do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think lots of the Ubisoft press conferences we'll have to wait and see. Let's moving on from that. Ubisoft owns Brawlhalla, apparently, and they're bringing Adventure Time characters to it.
Yep.
Do any of us play Brawlhalla still?
Nope.
I do, actually, and I'm actually pretty cool with
Okay.
that one. Adding more characters is always fun. They added Rayman a while ago.
Oh yeah?
So
I have not
Rayman,
kept up with that at all.
Yeah, I bought their character pack thing, so I get all of them from now on. And they added Rayman, which is kind of cool. I like I do have to say though, I do enjoy their original characters a lot more. But I love Brawlhalla. It's a great game. It's a nice Smash alternative, to be honest with you. And I can play it on my PC.
We got another look at Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Probably the best part of that was the dog on stage. That wasn't an actor; it was just the dude's dog.
Oh yeah, John Bernthal.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, who is also the Punisher in the Marvel.
He's great as the Punisher. I have several
really good,
mean notes here about how Scrump would be a better Ghost Recon dog, but they're not true.
But yeah, it was cool.
Scrump would be a good bad guy dog because he has that like mob boss look, or she has that mob boss.
Apparently,
look,
it's also a nice story along with the dog. So I mean, like apparently it's like a rescue and
the fact we're talking more about the dog.
Genuine. What's that?
The fact we're talking more about the dog is telling about our feelings about Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
Like every fucking time they show me this game, I get less and less likely to play it. Like I'm not sure I've even seen new trailers since last time I felt less inclined to play it, and I'm still like, talking about the community of the Tom Clancy verse also felt weird because it's like, oh, the cosplayers of Ghost Recon. I'm like, aren't those just fucking military weirdos that are like, yeah, I want to go to war?
Yeah. But yep, not interested in that.
Following that, we got Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which is the biggest middle finger to Splinter Cell fans ever.
Yep. Haha.
It's just that Rabbids game with Tom Clancy characters, like down to the art style. Yeah, we saw the new Just Dance.
Okay.
Only takeaway I got from that is the mix they were doing for the music for that game made that press conference seem creepy as shit. It was all quiet. No one was applauding or cheering, and I get where they did it, but man, it's like, this is uncomfortable to watch. For Honor, Axe Samurai looks cool. I'd have loved to have seen more characters. Also, are people still playing For Honor?
Yeah, that was my question.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Rainbow Six Siege continues to be a thing. They're doing a spin-off game of Quarantine, which was a game mode, I guess, that did really well, and they're now making it a separate thing. I kind of wish it was staying as part of Rainbow Six Siege, but let's bring it back to permanent mode or something, I guess. Division 2.
Yeah.
Alex,
okay, yeah, it's a game.
Yeah, so they showed off some stuff. They're going back to NYC for kind of sometime next year, probably. Awkward wooing aside, like
we don't woo on the non-Bethesda
don't
ones.
woo on the non-Bethesda ones, apparently. No, like you're the last of us to tap out, and then Billy was just the other. Like, Henry never played, and I kind of tapped out pretty early. Like, did you see anything in this trailer that makes you feel good about the season pass you now own?
It's a season pass. I'll get some extra stuff. I may check it out at some point, but I'm not like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there.
We're gonna do so much raiding in the Division.
Yeah. So I'm not really 100% like, yeah, let's do this. All right, I'm coming back. Goodbye, Destiny.
Screw you, Bungie.
Right? I'm gonna Bungie my ass back over the Division 2? No, that's not happening.
I think the best kind of response to this I've seen was someone took that Thanos meme of like, all through all your failures, you still came back to me. It's just fucking Bungie being like, so it's like, through all your failures, you're still back here playing fucking Destiny 2. Did you have fun out in the wilderness?
Yeah.
Probably the big reveal from this was Rollerball that you could play. Did anyone else besides me play that?
Is it out already?
It was on Uplay. I played it once and was kind of like, whatever. You could play the alpha of it. It's potentially cool.
Actually, it only ran from the 10th to the 14th, so no, I didn't. It looks interesting. I mean, I was never a big fan of Rocket League. As fun as it is,
that's
I guess.
kind of my takeaway too.
I just never really liked it. I never dug the controls for it.
I don't play much in the way of sports games, period. To be perfectly honest, the only sports game I technically ever play is pro wrestling games. Once upon a time, I used to play some, like, honestly, like Pro Evo Soccer or FIFA.
Sure.
But now I don't really tend to really rarely play sports games, and I don't know. I don't see myself playing that. It looks fast action. I mean, that's the thing. I do appreciate a game with nice fast action, and it looks like that's exactly what it's meant to be. But I can't see myself picking it up, though.
Yeah, I don't know at this point. I had fun playing it, but it's one of those ones where I'm like, I'm playing this for free and talk about it on the podcast. This is fine. Like, fuck, I played Rocket League for a week when it was free on PSN at one point. I'm like, this is neat. I'm gonna uninstall it now, cause cool. So this is what the kids were talking about. Neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like anytime Alex talks about Brawlhalla, I'm like, yes, not Smash. A game I also don't enjoy.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. I'm not a Smash player either. I really don't tend to play that game.
Well, because you were big into that like side-scrolling MOBA at one point that was kind of Smash-esque, right?
You're talking about Awesome Knots.
Yeah.
I would say it's nothing like Smash. It doesn't play, has none of the mechanics. It's closer to Contra than it is Smash.
Yeah, maybe calling it Smash-esque was unfair. Like it is side-scrolling and you fight. That's fair, yeah.
Well, it's not unfair. It's just it doesn't really resemble it. But Brawlhalla. I don't know. I've always been kind of interested in it, but I just haven't played it.
Got Hellboy.
Now, one game I have played that actually does have weirdly it has Smash mechanics is I can't remember it right now. Abyss Odyssey. Yes, Abyss Odyssey is this kind of it's a roguelike of rogue. Well, no, it has generated dungeons is what it has. It's not really. It has procedurally generated dungeons. It doesn't have any of the other aspects of what I would call roguelike. But the thing is, it also has its game mechanics are Smash mechanics. And they are very specifically like that. The way the blocks work and attacks and all the stuff, different stuff works. How you make those attacks happen. If you're good at Smash, you'll be amazing at Abyss Odyssey. So, but that's a complete side note. But yeah, it made me think about that for a second. But anyways.
Yeah. And Ubisoft finished up their press conference with Gods and Monsters, which just looked like a weird Clash of Clans game to me. I don't know. They seemed super excited about it, but it was just a trailer that showed off that griffin attacking that person.
Yeah, the trailer just didn't really show enough to excite me. I mean, I like games like, for example, Kid Icarus Uprising, which that's what the visual of that reminds me of a lot. Is the newer Kid Icarus game. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they did not show enough of that to get me actually interested. Even though I am a huge consumer of mythology, like mythos of any culture and country.
Yeah.
I like to read, and I really like to read about culture and history. There again, I mean, I've mentioned before that's one of the things that drew me to Assassin's Creed. But yeah, Same thing for this game. I mean, I'd kind of see, but I don't know. I'd have to see way more of it to make any sort of a judgment on it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll open up kind of a more general conversation a couple minutes once we get through Nintendo to kind of talk about some other stuff. But like this trailer was the
Yeah.
encapsulation for me of, man, they're showing a lot of trailers that don't mean shit to me at this point this year. Like it's okay, this was just as likely a game as it was like a mobile game as it was some like art student's final render for a project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, in our kind of step through the various press conferences, Nintendo. We already talked about that Bowser thing. It was real cool.
Oh, are you not going to talk about the PC gaming show, or you are going to cover that?
I don't watch that one because it's PC Gaming Magazine's show, and we can talk about it if you want. I don't have any notes for it prepared. I put it on my list.
I mean, I have notes for it, but I can talk about it kind of briefly.
Sure,
I'll just
yeah.
talk about the things that I thought looked cool. All right, so Midnight Ghost Hunt, because apparently I am super into asymmetrical multiplayer games now. I mean, that seems to be a thing I love.
Oh yeah,
And
they've been
Midnight
showing
Ghost
this
Hunt-
off for a year or two now, I think.
Yeah, but now it's actually like has some actual gameplay footage and at least a really nice trailer.
Yeah.
And man, that looks fun. It looks interesting. I like the concept in that it's like ghosts. It's kind of in two halves. The rounds are in two halves. The first part is the ghosts essentially hiding away from the ghost hunters while they're trying to basically build energy, and then the tables turn at a certain point, and then the ghosts get to go all poltergeist all over the ghost hunters and pelt them with furniture. I think that looked pretty entertaining to me. I there again, I guess I'm a sucker for the asymmetrical multiplayer games now, but I'd like to see more of that. I like the concept of it, and I'd like to see more about the mechanics and how that game will actually work.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, like you mentioned, this isn't the first time they've announced it, but that's looking good to me. But
my one concern about the kind of split asymmetrical is that's what Evolve did, and it did not work great in Evolve.
Yes, yeah. I never played Evolve, but that's what I heard about the criticisms of.
Yeah, it was this awkwardness of if you could kill the monster before it evolved once, it was real easy, and the monster wasn't necessarily that great at getting out of combat at that point.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like this asymmetrical stuff. It's hard to balance. I mean, like as we know, like with Dead by Daylight and Death Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason that those are good because they actually managed to put some very, very impressive balancing to those games where it does not feel like, maybe situationally sometimes it feels like one or the other has an advantage, but overall it does not feel like that. And that's the thing. It's a hard thing to balance. So, I mean, Midnight Ghost Hunt might be awful if they can't get the balance down right. And that's super hard, way harder on a game like this than on a game with, that's not asymmetrical. But, yeah. Other than that, there is something called Griftlands, which I guess the deck builder RPG is a genre now. Like, it just looks like the mechanics of Slay the Spire, except now in a full game, an actual, what you consider a storyline for an RPG. And you build your deck to be able to do things, and I don't know, I like the art style. And I do like these deck builder games. I mean, I play these in real life, like Dominion. So, yeah. One which falls into I'm not sure if I'm always into the pixel art games, but Valfaris, which just looks like it's just a ridiculous heavy metal side-scrolling shoot 'em up, where you're very much kind of in Contra, except everything looks like the cover of a heavy metal album. And I kind of unironically absolutely love that, being a super metalhead. I love it just, and the visuals, they do look pretty darn cool. I mean, when sprite art is done really well, it can look really fantastic. And I like the way that looked, but other than that, not a whole lot in the PC gaming show stood out to me. It's mainly just those 3 games. But they kind of they hit some things that are definitely like my favorite things. So there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the PC gaming show. But yeah, being a primarily PC gamer, I tend to be interested to see what they'll present, because the thing is, we get to see stuff presented in this one that's not from gigantic companies, and so that's the opportunity here. But anyways, I guess let's move on to the Nintendo.
Yeah, we covered the biggest kind of joke of it, which was the Bowser bit, which was cute and fantastic, and
yeah.
I do have one big question, which is who the fuck let Luigi buy a hotel? That man is obviously not trained or financially stable enough to run and operate, or even own, really, a hotel. Luigi's 3, Luigi, it takes place in a hotel. It brings to us the horrifying Gooigi.
But you do realize that Hotel Mario was a game as well.
Mario's marrying into royalty. He's fine. He's made some good choices. Luigi keeps buying haunted real estate. Like, the bank should not let him purchase things anymore. It should be like, Mr. Luigi, the last 3 things you've bought have been cursed. Get the fuck out of our office.
So I like to see this as the sequel to Hotel Mario.
Sure. Very well might be. That'd be a great way to tie some things together, actually.
But yeah, in case people don't know, Hotel Mario is a terrible, terrible game on the CDI. Because there's no good games on the Philips CDI ever.
Yeah, I love the first Luigi's Mansion. I never played the second one. The fact you can fucking suplex ghosts with a vacuum in this one seems pretty goddamn cool. I'm like,
yeah,
getting violent up in here. I might actually have to buy this one. Like, fucking whipping ghosts around the space, just slamming them into walls. Seems real cool.
So, of course, there is the Animal Crossing more announcements.
Yeah, that looks cool. You're going to be colonizing an island, which maybe that's a problem, but
looks fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Animal Crossing. It's going to be lighthearted fun. I mean, and Isabel's in it.
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted.
I do love the idea that Tom Nook now owns so much of the world. He's like, I gotta get into this colonization thing. I'm gonna sell islands now. You're gonna settle and pay my ass back. Motherfucking Tom Nook, bitches. Yes, you may be mayor. I am king.
I know the one thing that I was super hype about. The Dark Crystal game.
Okay, so I was going to aim this at Alex, but apparently you also care about this. Do people actually like the Dark Crystal that much? Like, you have the show coming back, and now we have a game, and who is this for? Apparently it's for you, Henry.
Yeah, totally. I love Dark Crystal. It's an amazing movie. I mean, it's a fantastic movie. I mean, it combines the artwork of Brian Frown, I love his artwork in general, and the brilliance of Jim Henson, and also the brilliance of Frank Oz. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I absolutely love Dark Crystal. But the thing is, what really pushes my button on this announcement is it's a tactical RPG. That is super my jam.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love Disgaea. That's why my most common avatar I use is a Prinny from Disgaea. And what my favorite of the Final Fantasy series is Final Fantasy Tactics. So, yeah, it's pushing exactly the right button. I like the world it's set in, and I love tactical RPGs. Yeah, I'm really interested to see that one. I want to see what it's like. I'm super interested in that.
Yeah.
So, and I am also super interested in seeing the new movie, which will be a prequel, and I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's going to have some suffer. I mean, this is a completely different conversation. It's going to suffer some of the problems you have when you make a prequel to anything, but I I'm interested. I'm definitely super interested. But yeah, it's for the game. It's a tactical RPG,
Yeah.
so of course I like it, or at least I'm interested in it. That is.
Question answered, I suppose. They put Witcher on the Switch.
Hmm.
We now have the definitive edition of The Witcher to play. It's on the Switch.
Oh, good.
Let me say something real controversial for a second. Is
Okay.
anyone else sick of this practice of bringing games that like have been out for a while to the Switch and acting like it's something we should be celebrating?
Kinda. I mean, it's like, hey, by the way, we're releasing this.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not really an E3 worthy announcement. I would say that.
Yeah.
Hey, we have a port. We have a port of a game that has been around for years.
Well, they took like
Okay.
more insulting, like the Witcher is an impressive technological feat, whatever. It was also then like, yo, we also brought Resident Evil 5 and 6 to the Switch. You know, the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the new one, the ones that came out like on older consoles. Yeah,
So, I like to throw in some more Sega news in because it was during the Nintendo.
You're talking about that Olympics?
I can talk about that first.
Which Sega thing you talked about? Panzer Dragon?
Yeah, Dragoon.
Dragoon, sorry, yeah. So
I am hype about that. It looks cool. I mean, graphical upgrade, of course. But yeah, I'm interested to see because man, the original is super fun, and if they just update it, like properly update all the mechanics, game feel, all that stuff, I think it'd be a fun game.
that franchise has always been weird for me. My first exposure to it was there was some Panzer Dragoon game for the Xbox, and a friend of mine
That was Orda.
was that. Which one was that one?
Panzer Dragoon Orda,
Sure.
I believe.
I had a friend that had a video that showed off that thing, and like spent so much time telling me how cool the game was, but I never played it. And then it went on to become like one of the rarest games of all time or something like that, which seemed weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's because it wasn't well publicized as it should be, as it should have been probably, and so it wasn't like a lot of stores didn't end up selling it.
Sure.
But yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, it's a fun game. Like it just plays well. It's a fun game. But yeah, I'd like to see what they do with the remake of the first one, and you know what, it could be good. I mean, at this point, there's so little to look and see about it. I don't know.
What if it's just a sequel?
No, they said it's a remake.
Sure.
I mean, it'd be cool if it was a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, another sequel to any of the games, because there's a Panzer Dragoon 1 and 2 RPG in Orta. And so, honestly, I like the universe and I like the idea, but yeah.
Yeah, no.
But the controversy with the Mario Sonic Olympics game?
I'm sure there are many, but tell me what the one you're aware of is.
All right, so there's a point in the trailer where they are surfing, and Mario is barefoot surfing because generally, if you're surfing, you can't really surf with shoes. That doesn't work.
It's not recommended, at least. Yeah.
No, but Sonic's wearing his shoes. But apparently, it's important enough for Polygon to go and actually ask one of the game producers why he's wearing shoes on the surfboard, and he said Sonic doesn't take off his shoes in canon ever.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That was the answer. So maybe his feet are actually just look like shoes.
Given the process we're going through, they probably just have molded the inside of that shoe. Yeah.
I just love the fact that Polygon actually decided to go and actually ask Sega about this. Of all the things to ask about this game, you ask about Sonic's shoes.
I assume
That's
anytime
hilarious.
Sonic shows up in anything, Sega just goes, prepare for the dumb questions. Like, that's just gotta be the loop at this point. It's like, yo, we put Sonic in this game with surfing. You're gonna ask about the feet, aren't you? Fuck yeah, we're gonna ask about the feet. The shoes stay on. Like, all the time? Yeah. Like, all the time? Yeah. So when he's, like, boning down on some yes, the shoes stay on.
Yep. He does not take them off canonically. But,
I'm kind of expecting more of you on this one, Alex.
It's just weird. Why would you care about the shoes? Like, I don't know what to say to that other than why the fuck do you care about
It's very
his
important,
shoes?
Alex.
He's a made-up fucking
I think
character.
it's just hilarious.
Of all the things you can ask about for a character in a video game, why the fuck do you care about the fashion of a fucking made-up hedgehog that runs super fucking fast? I
But
don't
Alex,
get
you're
it.
not want to see them feet. Them feet.
What's the absurdity? Like, it's a super fast hedgehog riding a surfboard, and the part that you're confused by is he has shoes on?
Of course.
I'm more to bring up the.
Fuck everything
I'm more to
about
bring
that.
up the fact that I'm assuming because this is Olympics, there are several running races that Sonic can participate in. How the fuck is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, Mario's no slouch. I mean, he can run, but Sonic literally breaks the sound barrier when he runs.
Sonic runs so fast he jumps and starts spinning and cuts shit in half.
Yeah, so, yeah, it seems like it's a little unfair here.
It's kind of like having fucking Bowser do karate against anyone, which is in that trailer too.
Yep. But,
Alright,
yeah,
so Toad,
but
you're
of
gonna
course-
fight this dragon in hand-to-hand combat. Do I get a weapon? No.
no.
The size advantage
You
will
get
be
these
obvious.
Yeah.
Get them judo
Ah.
throws ready.
Oh, did you notice or hear about what happened during the middle of Nintendo's conference?
No more heroes?
No, what happened?
The power went out.
Oh! Well, they don't have a press conference. It's just a YouTube video they put up, so it didn't really
Yeah.
matter. But
Oh.
But yeah, there's apparently a power outage, but they made a nice I am error power outage screen for it.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of like it was a throwback. It was a throwback. If you've ever played Legend of Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, yeah.
Alright, let's talk about Link real quick then. We have a sequel to fucking Breath of the Wild, which has fucking Ghost Ganon, Mummy Ganon in it.
Yeah, which people are super thirsty about.
I just assume people are thirsty all the time now, and like go about my day at this point. Like we're just making fetish material at this point for everyone. Like the goal of humanity now is to make increasingly more and more specific fetish material. To we're just making games for one person so they can jerk off to it. Like,
but that wasn't the only Zelda title announced.
it was not, and people seem more excited about this one. In all honesty, so. We gotta look at Zelda Link's Awakening, which was unveiled. Was it last year or at some kind of direct sometime between last year and now?
Yeah, I think it was at a Nintendo Direct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally love.
Now.
So have you guys got the controversy on this one?
No.
So someone said, why are they making this fucking Funko-ass looking Zelda game? And people above a certain age got real mad at that.
Why?
Because they also have a hatred for Funkos. Like, I saw numerous videos of people in the kind of 40-plus category holding Funkos up. So the Nintendo booth had a, like, diorama of the art style, holding, like, Funkos up next to the Link from Link's Awakening model and be like, it's not a Funko, goddammit! And all they
It doesn't look anything like a Funko. Funkos are ugly and horrible.
Yes,
and Link just looks like a simplified Link.
As someone who still does not like the art style for that game and thinks it looks plasticky, I found this shit funny as hell because it's like, yeah, this doesn't look like Funko. I still think it looks like ass, but it's fine, whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I'm gonna double down now on. I get that this is quote like a good interpretation of how that game is supposed to look, that just means I didn't like how that game was supposed to look to begin with. Like, it's fine if people are happy with it. I'm not trying to take that away from you, but the game looks like it's made out of, like, fucking Duplo characters to me. Which is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's a neat idea for a Zelda game to be made of plastic little diorama characters, but whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently it runs like shit, though.
Another Zelda thing also announced.
Go on.
There's a third thing. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No?
It's the one that is Curse of the Necrodancer.
Oh yeah. Zelda. Didn't put that on my list. What the fuck's that called?
I don't remember because I somehow Cadence of Hyrule. Yeah, Cadence. Yeah, that's right. Cadence of Hyrule. But yeah, that's the new Crypt of the Necrodancer thing, and that's cool. I think that's actually honestly kind of cool,
yeah.
But that's because I do own Curse of the Necrodancer. I'm awful at it. I'm not great at it. I've done fine on it, I guess, but yeah, I like the game a lot. But that's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I suspect you felt the same way about that I felt about we're making No More Heroes 3, actually. Motherfucking Travis Touchdown is back.
Yeah.
The real No More Heroes
And that's pretty
game.
cool. Yeah. I think that'll be cool. Honestly. The No More Heroes series is a cool series.
So long as it's the lightsaber weird-ass combat from the last two, I'll be happy.
Yes.
That, like, Travis Strikes Back game I played, I did not enjoy.
Did not play that one.
Don't. It's not good. Combat is bad and boring. But let's talk about kind of the final big announcement that came out of Nintendo. I know Alex is chomping at the bit for this because it was the right amount of trolley and nostalgia and all that jazz, and it is the fact that Bayonetta 3 was not talked about at all during the Nintendo press conference, which is a fucking travesty.
Yeah!
Yep.
Woo!
The actual news is Banjo and Kazooie are in Smash.
Banjo fucking Kazooie! We did it, boys!
Yeah, you did it.
So you're our resident Smash expert. Is this something people have actually wanted, or no? Okay.
Oh, very much so. It's been talked about a lot.
Okay.
So the Smash community has been really chomping at the bit of like characters ever since they announced like Joker and all that stuff. They're like, what fucking characters could come to this? Like, no franchise is off limits. And sure enough, so you had your representation from with Joker from the Persona stuff, and now you're kind of Microsoft stepping as far as representation into Smash goes is essentially Banjo-Kazooie, considering that Microsoft does own Rare. But yeah, and I do love that they did it as a wonderful little tease trailer, just in the same way they did the K. Rool trailer. That I thought was a nice little touch. So, yeah, I also was kind of stoked about the Dragon Quest characters that are coming. They very much got kind of overshadowed by Banjo-Kazooie.
I think the best reaction I saw to that was like, just shut up, Western audiences. Just because you don't know what the fucking Dragon Quest is doesn't mean it's not important to the rest of the world. And I'm like, no, that's absolutely right.
Yep.
Like, I have played those games. They're fine.
Yep. I like some of the I like some of the offshoots of that series as well. But yeah. Beloved game series that's still going and has multiple multiple games in this on the outskirts of the series too. So
yeah,
it does look interesting. The character itself, though, like I said, I look forward to seeing the Dragon Quest characters because they look pretty baller. But Banjo-Kazooie was just kind of the big crowd favorite that everybody was really excited about.
Yeah.
So,
are the Smash people happy?
Also, I believe so. I do think. I think they also really appreciated that since every character comes with a level, they recreated that mountain level, the Twirly Mountain or whatever they call it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, they kind of added that as a level. It looks like, so that'll be cool. But yeah,
I will say one thing that Nintendo didn't mention, and I kind of understand why now more than even before is no mention of the new Metroid that's being worked on by Armature Studios. The new Metroid Prime, I should say.
Yeah, I just don't think it's done or not far enough along. They had to restart that thing.
And I'm glad because, I mentioned last time it's the whole putting, additional pressure on developers. Like, I'm glad they didn't because just let them work on it until they actually have something to show instead of forcing them into it, just because it's E3,
Yeah.
And that kind of fits with the Doug Bowser's message. And so, yeah, they aren't going to announce it because it's not hardly ready to announce it. And why put that additional pressure on your developers? So, that's good. I think that's actually good. I mean, it may not be a popular opinion, but I'm glad they didn't say anything about the new Metroid.
Yeah.
If it's not ready. So.
Yeah. I'm still mad that there wasn't Bayonetta 3. I want Bayonetta 3 already, god damn it.
So, speaking of Squeenix, are we going to talk about Squeenix's?
We can.
Okay.
Or do you just want to talk about Final Fantasy VII?
I want to cover it.
Okay.
That's fair. Well, they did also do Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, we can get into that a little bit, but...
Yes, they certainly did.
Yeah, well, let's talk about... go ahead and talk about FF7 first.
It looks cool. We got that release date and stuff.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence on... I'm probably not gonna buy it, to be honest. I have my original copy sitting here in my room, and it's like, if I want to go back to it, I'll go back to it. And the thing is, it's going to use some of the mechanics from the newer games, which I don't know were hit and missed for me, to be honest. So I don't know.
It was cool to see a game them show off so much of just, hey, this is game footage. I thought that was kind of a neat approach.
Yeah, actual game footage. So
yeah. Well, apparently the whole bomber mission from the beginning of the game was fully playable as a demo
people
at
seem
E3.
The gameplay people seem to be okay with and stuff. Like, for a game coming out in a little under a year at this point, March 3rd, 2020, it seems to be in a good spot. No one seems to be complaining too much about it. It felt maybe finish the press conference with that and not what fucking chose to do Squeenix, but I don't know.
Yep.
So I want to tell a little side story about this whole Final Fantasy thing, which I thought was a super heartwarming thing, and I'm actually wondering if you heard about this, Charlie. But Charlie, you're familiar with Maximilian, the FGC guy, right?
Dude.
Yeah. So Maximilian Dude is a big fan of Final Fantasy VII, and he got to go to E3 for one day, and he got to go check out the stuff for Final Fantasy VII's remake and all that stuff. And he got to meet some of the original director for the first Final Fantasy VII and some of the people working on the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Cool.
And yeah, so he's a huge fan. He says it's one of his favorite games of all time. It's a big
one
thing.
Of Jeff's favorite games of all time too. Let's continue.
Yeah. So he went there and he had asked for a photo, and he got a few photos. And then I guess somebody was kind of eyeing him and was like he said he was getting some weird looks. Not weird looks in a bad way, but the kind of like, is that who I think it is kind of looks, you know? So later on, the guy who's currently working on the remake revealed to him that whenever they have really tough times working on the game, the direction and all that, they watch Max's YouTube video to the reaction of the announcement for the Final Fantasy VII remake. And we watch that in the office a lot, and all the devs watch that to kind of keep them going forward and motivated and push forward to keep working on the game. So I thought that was kind of a neat moment where you sound a little questionable on it.
Prove it.
Well, it was a story that he was telling on his channel recently.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't happen that way, but if watching some dude's YouTube video is what keeps you going on a video game, that video game should never come out.
well, but
Oh, it's not. It's just. It's just they use it as the motivation because the reaction he has to it is the reaction they want to pour
it's
into the
cool. Like that's neat. I guess.
I mean, the thing is, when you're on a long project, you have to find your motivation where you can. This is something I even told my students, is that the development process is long and hard, and it is difficult. It is a difficult road, and you have to find your wins where you can. You have to find your motivation where you can. If that helped them just over maybe a hump, they were just feeling bad about something or it just seemed like something wasn't working, then kudos, good, great. Because yeah, when you're working on any long project, and I know that both of you are probably familiar with the feeling of working on a long project and just feeling sometimes frustrated, but sometimes all it takes is just somebody's words to just kind of reinvigorate you a little bit, or something happens that's really positive and it recharges you a little bit. So, you know what? If it actually happened, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah,
I want to believe it did because it's.
Oh, I
you hear
believe
a lot
it
of
happened.
Weird shit about like.
I'm not gonna say it didn't happen. Like, why the fuck would you lie about something like that? Who the hell cares? It feels like a very manufacturable moment, though. I guess like it's a made for YouTube hype moment, and like it's one of those ones where kind of like it's that could have been a genuine moment. Like that could be like that guy and his team. That could totally be a thing that happens, but like I'm just not gonna be cynical on this one. Sure, it happened. Cool, whatever.
You already sound cynical. I was like, I'm not gonna be cynical. Sure, cool, whatever. It happened. Like, so the reason I bring it
as
up,
someone who works in the industry where I constantly manufacture moments like that, I will forever not believe those things are actually true. Like they happened, and
fair enough.
The people that experienced them did experience them, but that's how we wanted you to experience them. We did our jobs correctly. It's like you weren't played, but you bought into exactly what we were selling. No, I don't want to be this guy right now. Like it happened. It's a cool moment. Whatever. Good for Max.
But let's talk about the all-new, all-generic Avengers.
Off-brand Captain America is best Captain America.
It's like Major USA, Steel Guy. The Bulk.
Bulk,
It was, I don't, the thing is, I don't give a crap that it doesn't look anything like the movie, people, because who cares? There's literally millions of different versions of the way all the Avengers have looked, so that's not my thing at all. That's not my take at all. But holy crap, it looks like they are using literally stock stuff that they picked up for free in the Unity asset store.
It
doesn't look good.
I mean, it just looks boring designs. Holy crap, with as exciting as a comic book could be, those are the most uninspired, boring designs, and just the palette overall just seems dull and bland. I mean, these are costumes that could pop. I mean, take a look at, Spider-Man, the newest Spider-Man game. That design pops. Like, underneath, Spider-Man is just kind of whatever, bland Peter Parker, but the costume looks fantastic. It looks so cool. It just has great design to it. These costumes just look awful. Like, bad design. It just doesn't look nice. I mean, there again, it's not to say that the designs in the comic books have always been great, but man, these look uninspired. Hilariously uninspired. It's just, it's the all new. This is the
so. Again, this is kind of like the digging deeper into E3. That thing became the quiet. So the Quiet Man was this kind of weird thing you had to go check out. I think it was at the last PAX that like it made the circles. It made the rounds in certain circles where it's like, yo, you got to go play the Quiet Man. Do I? Yeah, you do, because that's a game they are putting out soon. This had a similar vibe, the way people were talking about it, where it's like, you gotta go check out that Avengers game. Why? Well, it is a game, and it is something to look at quickly.
Yeah.
Apparently it's got some cool ideas going on, but also, like...
Oh, yeah, the mechanics some of the mechanics sound actually cool and fun, and some of the things that they want to do with the characters also sounds cool and fun. But bring in an actual artist, design, because it looks like, I don't know, I guess they're going for the really heavy realism thing, but as a result, it just looks bland. I mean, I get it that maybe put Captain America in armor, but why put him in armor and not any of the other super vulnerable Avengers like Black Widow or, Hawkeye? Or Hawkeye wasn't even in it, was he?
No.
But in any case, like Black Widow sitting there without armor, and then they put Captain America in this really dumb, boring looking armor. It's like, okay, it's a choice, I guess. Terrible one. Yeah. See, some people are like, oh, it doesn't look like the movie characters. I don't care about that. That would have been a nightmare to get all the licensing for all of that stuff. So, and like I said, there's a million different versions of all the heroes for them to choose from. Why did they do the most boring, generic-looking ones possible?
Yeah.
Hopefully that will change. Hopefully they'll actually get art direction.
No. I want a sequel to The Quiet Man known as Square Enix's Avengers. I want a game that I play and get on the podcast and go, oh boy, do I have a game to talk about. I demand one of these a year from Square Enix now. It's all I want. That games that you're like, man, this is some 90s PlayStation 2 bullshit.
Yeah.
Early 2000s?
Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of want to, if we're kind of done talking about that, I kind of want to throw in one other thing that happened during the E3 that I thought was.
Oh, I got a bunch of like general E3 notes if we're done talking about the press conferences.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have any more notes on the press conferences. I mean,
sure, there's some things I think we can just talk about though too.
Yes. One game I don't remember where it's announced, but I think it was during the PC gaming thing as well. Sky was this from the makers of Journey. If you ever played Journey, it's an 8-player version of Journey. It looks like basically with more puzzle and story, but it looks fun. I like the design to it too, and I really enjoy Journey. I mean, I've played Journey and had people drop in on my game, and that was super cool and fun. And because you can only communicate with basically kind of interesting emotes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looked kind of cool to me. But yeah, outside of that, I think that's all my notes on actual games being released. But there is one thing that happened. All right, I don't know if y'all caught this. Kenny Omega came on to promote AEW's next show.
Yes, he was on Giant Bomb's stream.
Yeah. And Kenny Omega, I mean, if you don't know who he is a very, very popular pro wrestler.
He's a very good pro wrestler, too.
Oh, he's an excellent pro wrestler. Very, very excellent. Definitely up there among the best. Fantastic pro wrestler. But he's also a great mouthpiece because he speaks very well, and he is the perfect person to send. Because the thing is, Kenny Omega, a part of his original gimmick is super video game influenced. That's why his name is Omega. So
fair enough.
He is a legit big video game fan. He's probably pretty happy to be there to be able to talk about their next big show. And I have to say, brilliant, great marketing, cross marketing, super well done.
Yeah.
Got to talk about his AEW and the next big show.
Did you watch the Giant Bomb thing?
Not all of it.
It's worth watching. It's great.
Yeah, I caught here and there of it. I was kind of
the Kenny Omega bit at the end. It's like midnight on like Thursday, and he's pretending to be in the room next door asleep. He's yelling at them. It's like, why are there so many people in here? Well, we were doing video game things. Video games are quiet.
Yeah, Kenny Omega's great, and I that was another kind of a highlight of the conference for me is seeing Kenny Omega just be kind of happy to be there, and then also talk about AEW. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know how much he was actually there. I just got the giant bomb part of it, but yes. I think my biggest takeaway from the show this year is September is going to suck. So many goddamn games are coming out in September. Like, I want to say Borderlands 3 and Destiny Shadowkeep launch within a week of each other, if not in the same week, like days apart. Because we live in a nightmare.
The funny thing is, I don't actually keep up with release dates too tightly because I almost never buy anything straight after it's new, and so I don't really tend to track them too often.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I probably the news nearest and dearest Alex's heart is Dr. Disrespect got banned from Twitch and kicked out of E3.
Yeah, that was
yes,
a whole
it was.
We're doing something that's illegal, doing a thing that's illegal, and, well, that's what happens when you do an illegal thing and film it.
I just want to know the thought process that was going on.
Well, isn't the filming the illegal thing?
Yeah, it's illegal in California.
The filming was the illegal thing.
Yeah, you can't film in the bathroom in California. It's one of those places where there is an expectation of privacy in a public place.
Or at least that type of public place.
Yeah.
There was also like a kid in the background, which is a real bad thing.
Yeah, that's a bad, I mean, that's just bad. Yeah.
Well, I don't, was it confirmed
it's
that
a
it
kid.
was a kid? Because from what... Okay. Well, what's the kid doing at E3 in the first place?
Kids have been at E3 for decades now. Like, you're not wrong.
Kids have parents, You have...
Yeah, but they specifically say kids aren't allowed into the convention center, regardless of you being industry or one of the public. That's why I was like, I heard it was a kid, but I don't think it was ever confirmed from my understanding.
But I also think it would be also just as weird for them to say nobody can bring their child.
We're missing the more important part of don't fucking film strangers in bathrooms. Don't live stream it.
I agree 100% on that one.
Yeah, what is wrong with
on
him? The thought process is
I want to know that thought process where it's like
we're lacking. I'm just saying they were lacking thought, but that was the real thing. There isn't a thought process. That's the problem. So, super done, and enjoy your super ban, idiot.
He'll be back, unfortunately, but I
think it's a temporary.
So
ban.
if this goes legal direction, this could become more permanent. In all honesty,
that's legal. Like, I don't know if he's facing arrest right now, but he could be, because that's just actually illegal, and that can get you arrested. And so, as a company, I kind of wouldn't want to touch that again.
Yeah.
I would be like, nope, that's a hard no.
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways, but all in all, this E3 for me, it wasn't surprises. I mean, there's a couple of things that I liked about it, but I mean, I think Henry,
what if I told you there was a game peripheral manufacturer there called like Red Pill Entertainment or something along those lines? That either is completely unaware, the way Jen was, of the second meaning of that phrase, or is very aware of the second meaning of that phrase.
No, you can't not be aware of that.
Not everyone knows the second meaning of that phrase. I had to explain. Jen was like, "Oh, there's a company called Red Pill. I don't get anything from them." Why? I'm like, Red Pill means the second thing on it. What? It's the Morpheus thing. I'm like, it also is like men's rights groups, and it's not a great
MRAs,
part of the internet.
Incels, no, hard no. No, I have to say that they were probably... You can't have that name and not know what it's been used for now.
I don't know. I think a lot of people don't make it past the Morpheus reference, which is a fine reference, but then it's also that's the reference that group is making with that name, which is a whole other problem.
Yep, and they were the Gamergate people. I mean, that's the same Gamergate crowd as all of that incel MRAs.
Yep.
Yeah. And, no. No, bad title. If you didn't intend it, change your title. If you did intend it, I hate you.
Yeah, I thought you'd enjoy that one. Content-wise, like, what do people think the mix was? Like, this felt like the year where it was too many trailers and not enough any actual anything. And maybe like it's you get into not actual anything because like we saw, what was it, Outer Worlds, whatever it's called. Like they had some gameplay kind of from that. There was technically some cyberpunk stuff. Like Sony wasn't there, who seems to bring the most gameplay. I might go. Yeah.
Well, they played through quite a bit of cyberpunk too,
but we didn't get to see it.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Like an hour. They played it for like an hour and talked about it.
Are you talking about the gameplay demo from last year?
Maybe.
Yeah, because there's a new demo from this year that a bunch of people got to play that's not out there yet.
Okay.
I think there's some coded message that will be available after Gamescom or something.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. We didn't see a lot of. Yeah, I think it was kind of lacking a lot of actual gameplay for a lot of these trailers. They went all in on making nice cinematic trailers for practically everything, but very little gameplay. But I mean, I think there again, it's like everybody should just do what Devolver Digital does: make a nice, tight presentation that's entertaining
and murder people on stage.
Loads of gameplay, as well as nice mini trailers in it as well, but loads of gameplay. So yeah,
and murder people on stage.
Everybody, and murder people on stage. Yeah, I want to see Doug Bowser throwing some blue shells.
I just want to see him bite the head off someone.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah,
fucking breathe fire or some shit.
But yeah, I agree. There is a lack of actual gameplay being shown. Yeah, they might have had it on the floor, but I'm not on the E3 floor.
Yeah, and so Jen got to go, and I kind of secondhand from her. Like, I'm not sure obviously we missed being at E3, but kind of like it was, even she was having the reaction of, compared to the previous E3 she's been to, this one seemed kind of lackluster is the wrong word, but I'm not sure I can come up with a better one. Like, it wasn't as impressive as previous years. Like, yeah.
I think people are starting to understand that the whole artificially creating window and when a game is supposed to come out doesn't work well.
Yeah,
it's not really it's not a thing that should continue.
Sure. And
it's not a great idea either. That I don't like all the rush to make sure that you have something to show for E3. And that just, I think, is another sort of definite criticism against E3 existing in the first place. That it pushes everything to be announced at the same time. So
yeah.
Or having to have news right now, some news and a trailer right now for a game. But yeah.
Anyone got anything more?
Yeah, I think some of these.
Sorry. Finish.
Yeah, these are just more signs that E3 is maybe live past its usefulness.
Yeah, we'll see. I know they announced next year's date. We'll see what kind of happens after that one. I'll try and make sure at least some of us get into it next year. But yeah. We got anything we want to talk about meaningfully, or are we okay to close it out?
I think I'm good.
I think I'm good.
So that was E3.
Yes, it was complete with way too many T1000 in-game things.
Yeah, that was weird to see more T1000 stuff.
Yeah.
After I picked up the T800 for Blood Garden. So
maybe just T800. It's the skeleton one. I remember which one's which.
Okay, it is the T800. Yeah, that's right. It was. But anyways.
Yeah. Who wants to close us out this week? You brought us in this week. I'm Alex. You want to take us out?
Yes, I do. Cue the match.